Hello. I was gonna wait a few minutes because I was eating watermelon and waiting for everybody. Might as well eat me. Ooh. Purr. Hold up. Yay! Hello.
Hello, darling.
Ooh,
How art
hello,
thou?
darling. How you doing, sugar?
Not too bad, not too bad. And yourself? I had a great stream earlier today, actually.
Hmm.
I was on PJ Maybe, this guy in Scotland with a bunch of guys from the UK. Another woman named Wendology as well. Just chatting the chat, chewing about current events, showing off some of the stuff we've recently purchased or have in our collection or something. It was fun. We've been doing it for I've been on it for on Saturdays now for a good couple of months,
Mm-mm.
and we're reviewing Beetlejuice on Wednesday on the same channel.
How do you reveal Beetlejuice?
Review, review,
Oh,
like
review. I
just
thought I'm sorry.
discuss our love for it and rewatching it recently and new insights and all that good jazz. But how
Righto.
about yourself? What have you been up to?
Self isolating entirely too much.
Indeed.
Mm. Not because of COVID, because of depression.
Yeah, it's something. I was isolated a lot before. It's kind of ridiculous. I went through a cycle of trying to break out of my isolation, and every time I did, some new thing, some new evolution in the media talked me out of it. The most recent being the coof.
Oh yeah, that didn't actually stop me. Like I was more like, well,
Yeah, I don't mean it as a thing. I mean it in general. Basically said like you got to restrict your actions, or at least the majority of the people I wanted to see were not seeing anybody.
right.
like
That's sort of my problem because I don't really want to go see people. Like
like I
I'm kind
said.
of okay self isolating. That is probably not good.
Mm. So I think I've seen you around.
A bit.
Didn't you have the captain and a bunch of other? You were what was it? Ashley's. You came by, or
I came by some stream earlier and saw you there.
hmm, it must have been PJ's then, because the captain showed up as well.
No, I didn't
He,
see PJ. I didn't. He went live. I think a little before or a little before I did, so I didn't get a chance to go say hi to him.
I may have been in another chat before that. Goodness,
Hmm.
where was it?
It was like
Where was it
hours
that I
ago.
was? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, we were on for 4 hours and then
Okay, that's
sat in the
fair.
back room for a little while as well. So, we were deeply involved. I forget what we were talking about. That was like, see, I've been on this kick with literature for a really long time. And now I'm kind of looking through because the horror cinema is a really easy genre to wrap your head around how strongly it attaches to what was going on during those days as opposed
Right.
to now. And because in the horror genre, you literally have legacy characters played by dozens and dozens of actors and actresses, and yet we recognize them always as Frankenstein, Dracula, werewolf. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, the old ones.
Well, going all through the entire history, right? Like say you're like a fourth dimensional creature, and you could look at the entire history of cinema just looking through the monsters, right? Just looking through Universal monsters. And you could see how, Christopher Lee was paying homage to what
Right.
Bela Lugosi was doing.
I was never a big fan of him though. Like
Who, Christopher
those
Lee's?
Hammer films. My mom loved those Hammer films, but I was like, man, this is a cheesy shit. The
Yeah,
blood
I
demon,
agree
like
with
it
you.
was like red ass paint. It was terrible.
What's your favorite vampire then?
Oh, Bela Lugosi. Well, I mean,
Oh,
generally, I would say Bela Lugosi. I can't say really on Gary Oldman because it's been so long since I've seen that, and it was kind of fucking weird. That was
Well,
not a
not
movie
just
you want.
Dracula, but
That was not a
what?
movie you wanted to see with your parents because you're like, oh, that's awkward. Oh,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah,
that kind of happened. I was like, oh, weird.
yeah, yeah.
And
And
so,
sometimes even on a date, because it got like but
well, yeah, that is awkward, but at least it's a little less gross.
right, right. But what about your favorite vampire?
Oh my god.
Because I
There,
got
there, there are bits
attached
and
to the
pieces. I
Buffyverse
like the
of
classics, but they're
vampires.
not. I like classics because they got atmosphere, but they're not nasty and gross.
Right, right,
Like I mean, because sometimes you want to see something that's a little spooky, but not gory and gross. You know what I mean? It's like, because
gotcha.
some people are like, and not to throw the word around, but can be triggered by seeing blood and gore and be disturbed by it. Where you can watch things like Bela Lugosi, and someone just gets a nip on the neck and faints, and like,
Right,
but there's nobody's getting like their head cut off, blood's not being sprayed all over people, it's
right.
and I think they have kind of somewhat lost atmosphere and replaced it with gore. Which if someone likes a gory movie, that's okay. Like I'm not gonna hate on people who like that, but not everybody's down with that, you know.
What did you think of Blade?
The first one was better than the second, mostly because that was just really creepy and gross. Hey, Optic, like, like the first
Hello.
one was okay. I wasn't a big fan of it, but it wasn't bad. Like, it was weird to see him going from like Passenger 57 to Vampire. I'm like, oh fuck, okay.
Well, did you see Underworld then?
Oh yeah, that's a that was also kind of it was all right. It just didn't seem vampire-y in the way I've always seen vampires be
I
in
gotcha.
movies.
Yeah, me
I should
too.
probably
I get
clarify
that.
in movies because somebody's going to think the wrong thing. Like what? But
Well, then how about Buffy,
that was cute. Wait, the TV show or the movie?
the TV show, the ongoing
I,
TV show?
in fairness, optic. I mentioned that right before you came in. I mentioned Gary Oldman. So to be fair, I did mention it, dear. Optics like I didn't hear about the Bram Stoker Dracula. Like I just mentioned it right before you walked in.
Late to the party.
Oh, poor little Optic. Poor sweet little Optic. Hey, Magnum, how are you doing? The Buffy TV show, yes, it rules. Oh my god, yeah, it's so weird to think back that like I was like the same age her character was. I don't know how old she actually is, but I was about 15 or 16 when the show got started.
Right, right. And I was about 5 years ahead of you on it, but I fell in love with that show because it
Oh
reminded
yeah,
me of Scooby Doo as a live action.
yeah, it was with better coordinated violence. I liked it. Yeah,
Yeah, and they were always snarky, so they were always kind of winking, like, "Don't take this too seriously, kids. I know it's spooky, and we're gonna have some fun, but don't worry, we got this. We're gonna kick their butts. We're gonna win
yeah,
in the end."
yeah.
It was
Cordelia
really
covered the
Saturday morning
snarky pretty good.
cartoon.
Buffy and Cordelia covered the snarky pretty good.
It was great,
Oh yeah, it was
and I
cute.
love the mentor character because I felt like him most of the
Oh
time.
my god, it was so weird. So like, all right, you are just I think a pinch older than me, but not by much. But like, I when I first saw it, I was like, oh my god, is that the Taster's Choice guy?
I don't
Because he used
even
to be in a
know.
coffee commercial before he was in Buffy.
Oh my God, that's priceless. That's probably how Joss found him in the first place.
It
That's
probably
awesome.
is. That dude just like radiates tweed, you know. So that kind of
Radiates
works.
tweed. That's fantastic.
But also, Angel was okay, but it wasn't as good as Buffy. Like you knew it did all right, but it just wasn't the same without everybody. I
Spike, when Spike appeared, it was like Christmas the whole
Oh, I
time
love
that he
Spike.
was on screen, and he
I
brought
love
he
him.
brought Cordelia, he brought his girlfriend with him, and she was Drew. She was
Oh
absolutely
yeah, that bitch
fabulous.
was crazy. That bitch was
Yup,
crazy.
loved her to
And
pieces.
what's wild? And what is blah, words? Fuck, words are hard. The woman who plays that, I think that's I think her dad's an actor.
Yeah, she's a daughter of somebody.
Yeah, he was in like that.
Duvall.
Huh?
I think Robert Duvall.
No, it's not Robert Duvall. It was like some cheesy like remake of Plan 9 from Outer Space or something, or the one that had Johnny Depp in it.
What, from Ed Wood?
Yeah, he's in Ed Wood. The guy I'm talking about's in Ed Wood.
Oh, Bela Lugosi? Oh
Really?
no, 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 no. I know who you're talking about. He's in Space 1999. He was in Mission Impossible.
I don't remember. Fuck. Uh,
Um,
she has the same last name he does. So whoever played Drusilla, she has the same last name as the actor I'm talking about.
right, right, right.
I need to look this
I
up. I'm trying
guess
to
I
figure
can
out
look
how
it
to
up.
look this up. I guess we'll start with the character's name and work back. I guess. So, Drusilla Buffy. Uh,
Okay.
da, 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 da. Oh, Juliet Landau. So it was Martin
Martin
Landau.
Landau.
Yeah,
Martin Landau.
yeah. I'm
Yes,
pretty
of
sure that's who
course.
her dad is. Pretty sure. See, now I'm gonna go check Wikipedia to be certain of it.
Wait, does that mean that she's his mom, the woman from Space 1999? Because weren't they a thing?
No, I don't believe so.
But oh my goodness, yet she was absolutely fantastic. She really brought the cuckoo
Oh,
along with her.
God, she did. Holy.
And you didn't know what was going to happen next because
Oh
she was
yeah,
just in the
yeah.
room.
Her dad is Martin Landau, and her mom is Barbara Bain, who I've never heard of.
Oh my God, Barbara Bain. I think that's her. Click on that name. It's got to be Space 1999.
I should look at.
I think it's
She's in Mission Impossible from the
yes,
66,
it's her.
66
That's
or 69. So yeah,
fantastic.
that's her mom. Yeah.
That's fantastic. Can you see it in her eyes? Look at her
Oh,
face.
oh yeah, yeah. The mouth and the eyes. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. She looked like a doll. She would have been perfect to play a grown-up Wednesday.
Right. That'd be kind of weird to see a grown up Wednesday, but yeah. Oh, hold on. That was an amazing. Ed Wood was amazing. I have never seen. I saw the previews for it. I'm like, God, this is so cheesy, but it knows it is, which I
Yeah.
can appreciate. I don't like cheesy movies unless the movie knows it's cheesy and accepts it. And I'm like, okay. I say
Yeah,
movies that are cheesy and they think they're taking themselves serious. And I'm like, ugh, cringe.
right.
But yeah, I forgot. But yeah, so yeah, I did love that show when I was a kid. Man, I forget what day it was on. It was like Friday or Wednesday or whatever the fuck it was. I'd
I
be
watched most of it in syndication. I mean, I
Oh,
kind of
I
missed the
watched it
boat
with a
early
stand
on,
too.
but
I'd park my ass in the front room in front of the TV, and that was it.
yeah, but started watching it in real time around maybe the third season, midway through the third season. I started watching in real time. So that yeah, it was great. It was
It-
so good, and the way it connected everything, and the
right,
previously on always told you what was about to happen, but didn't completely reveal it. But
right. Yeah, I like to
so
know.
good.
Hey, Brett, how are you doing, sugar? We were just talking about Buffy. Well, we
Nice.
were talking about vampires. Like Steph had brought it up, and I'm like, why not? Let's go for it.
Yeah, well, just movie talk and in general, I brought it up as this idea that we've seen these incarnations of these characters through dozens of different actors, different
Right?
studios, even different media, because it went from black and white to full color, and even from sound from silent to sound as well.
Yeah, because I think
So
you're referring to 1922 Nosferatu on that.
correct, yeah, and
I
others
love
that have been
that.
lost,
Huh?
and others that have been lost.
Oh, I
There,
don't
there
want to think about that. That gets me all upset and cringy.
hmm
Because there's one silent movie that like nobody can find anymore, and they think that they're all gone. And like the concept of it, I guess, is worth millions of dollars if they found it and was actually somewhat salvageable.
Right.
It's London After Midnight, and it's got or it did have. I guess it kind of does have whatever. Lon
So
Chaney Sr. in it, and no, it seems to be no copy exists left. There's some still photos from it and a script, but the film itself is gone. They think that a couple of the copies might have burnt up in like in the 1960s when I think there was a fire at Universal Studios or whatever or
right.
MGM, like their warehouse full of videos or a film like got burnt. The amount of movies in there that got burnt, you don't even want to think about. Oh my god, I never saw Salem's Lot. That I saw the previews and I was like, I was kind of young and I was like, oh, I don't know if I'm ready for that. Well, that looked rough. I gotta say, I don't like Stephen King's like portrayal on certain things. Like, mm. It's like, hell,
Yeah.
vampires are a classic. Let's see if I can make it worse. Fuck. Like, he's not my favorite person. He really is. And that was before he started running his mouth on Twitter. But some of his shit was weird. Like the Mist. The Mist made me want him hit by a car again. Like
Oh,
the ending pissed me off. Everybody committed suicide, and then he was about to kill himself, and then the military showed up. I was so pissed off with that ending. I wanted to kick the television.
The books are all better. I'm sorry.
And he's a long,
It's ironic that he doesn't like The Shining.
but
To
his
me, that
books
says
are thick,
everything to
man. I
me.
don't have time to look through the book that thick. It's like reading War and Peace. Holy fuck!
I get you,
His
but
books can be used as a weapon. Like they're fucking big.
just Stephen King in his rightful place on paper is always the better bet. Every one of his books that I've read that were turned into a movie, the movies was such a letdown, with the exception of The Green Mile.
Yeah, that okay.
Stand By
I
Me.
keep forgetting Stephen King did The Green Mile because that does not seem like his normal stuff.
The Stand By Me as well.
I didn't realize that was him too. Okay, so some of his stuff was like out of his normal and it was all right.
Yeah,
Like
but they're not handled like a horror movie.
Was interesting.
There's no jump scares really.
Yeah,
I
don't.
You know?
Yeah, one or two jump scares in a movie's okay, but anything more than that, I feel like they're just pushing it.
So
they're trying to put my anxiety on edge. Like, oh. But Optic mentioned season 4, The Gentleman from Buffy. Those guys were weird, with weird ass smiles and just floating around. Ugh.
Fantastic creatures.
I like the one where they're singing. I like the one where they're singing because hearing Spike sing was kind of hot. I was like 17. I was like, oh fuck yeah.
Yeah, Spike. He knew what he was doing, man. I was
like, oh, I feel serenaded.
A legendary bring to screen, man. He freaking was flexing all the time with that role.
He was so sassy. It was so funny. I loved it.
And then he got it on with Buffy. That was so awesome that they got together finally.
It was such an unexpected thing. Like I was like, I hope she doesn't make a habit of this. Otherwise, all the vampires are gonna get turned. Like, oh.
Well, like neither one of them is breakable. And that became like almost an erotic thing that they talk about all the time. Like they would throw each other around the room and smash tables over each other's backs.
Yeah, that might have been a bit much, I must admit, because that might be giving people the wrong idea of romance there.
Well, the whole thing was supposed to be evidence that this was not a correct relationship because they were basically just abusing each other for it.
Well, yeah, they have Spike looking so hot, and all the bitches are gonna be like, "Oh, Spike can throw me around." It's like, oh, that's not a good mindset to have there.
That's how I feel about Harlequin. I mean, what message is Harlequin bringing? Like, become the abused girlfriend of a psychopath. Like, seriously?
Yeah, like he was about to walk. Assuming me in the more recent films, yeah, he was gonna walk off as like.
Well, since the beginning, she was incarnated. She was a therapist that was seduced by the Joker. Right?
Oh my. Giggity.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, I mean, I haven't listened to it in years, but like, I kind of have an urge to like play the song he was singing because I'm just like, rare. Like, I don't know if I'd still like it like I did when I was 17 though. Like,
the musical episodes were so much fun. They did it a bunch of times, didn't they? Where there was like they just broke into song for a whole episode.
It turned out the little questionable sister had made some kind of wish or something so that everybody would get along, and so the wish manifests itself as everybody singing and breaking into song.
Yeah. It was always something reasonably like magical, like an object was doing this. Like they weren't just lampooning.
No, it was some particular guy that it was some weird, I don't know what he was, some weird monster guy that
awesome
was able to make that happen. I feel like looking that up sort of. It was weird and awkward. Okay, most of it was weird and awkward, but like Spike singing in the cemetery was pretty hot. He said, "Buffy, stop! Don't sing."
I thought the coolest part was when Buffy met that college kid that was part of like a SWAT team against monsters.
Right?
That was so awesome. And they did it really well. They took it totally seriously. There was just enough production value to believe it all. But
Right?
like he's training with her and she's like, come on, man, you're like not even trying. He's like, you're like Spider-Man strong. And it blew my mind. Like all of a sudden you got this power scale map of how strong she really was. She could literally lift him above her head and she's regenerating. Right? He could punch her as hard as he wanted to in the face and she wouldn't bruise. Right? Spider-Man strong.
Right.
Punching a hole in a tree. Buffy. That was so cool that they acknowledged that he was like the best of the best of the best, right? Captain America without the serum. She was Captain America with the serum, right? Because of her Buffy powers. It was so awesome. That show was so cool.
It was super cute. I did like it. I do kind of want to watch it now.
And when you hear the budget counts on those things,
Oh
it's
my
like, you
god,
gotta be
I have
freaking
no idea.
kidding.
I don't know what they spent on that.
They didn't spend that much. They were always like an episode or two away from being canceled next season, and then they weren't.
Shit.
So could you imagine writing under those conditions?
Oh man, I'd be too stressed. I couldn't. I'd be like, no.
So it was a lot of fun back then. It's like that. Those are some of my favorite vampires. But did you read any Anne Rice?
I did read one or two Anne Rice books when I was like 19. My first husband made me do it. Because I didn't mind books. I just wasn't a fan of sitting down and reading them.
Right. I got into them through audiobooks. I actually
that
had
was not an option for me in 2000.
Okay. But that's how I got them in my head.
Or at the very least, I didn't know they existed.
Right. I was going to a local library. Somebody had turned me on to it at work because while I was working, I could listen to something totally different than what I was doing. I was an illustrator for the New York Times Yellow Pages.
Huh.
Doing spec art and finished artwork for camera work. And I did that for about a year. And during that time, I devoured my library's CD collection of audiobooks, and including all of Anne Rice. That's when I listened to The Planet of the Apes for the first time, the French novel that inspired the movies. So, yeah, I got a lot of it in my head. It was great because I'm very dyslexic. It's hard for me to read as well.
Right?
Taking words off the page is a difficult enough task for my brain that I've never really been able to enjoy it as a practice. So audiobooks saved my life. I have so many hours and hours and hours that I've spent listening to audiobooks.
I tried getting back into like listening to audiobooks, and I picked one that just it goes on forever, it feels like, and then I fall asleep. And it's not like the show at all, hardly, and it sucks with me.
Yeah.
I'm like, wait a minute, why is so and so still alive? And in the show, he's dead at this point. What the fuck? You know?
Yeah.
I don't know how to deal with that.
Well, now you know how we feel when we get decanonized nonsense happening with our favorite material. That's exactly what it feels like. It's like, what the hell? Or even better yet, you're listening to the book for the first time and you're like, why did they kill this character in the show? This guy's awesome in the book.
Right?
It's like, it's so sad. But you listen to some of the old classics or some of the old detective novels, you might be really, really interested. The ones that take place in like 1930s to 1940s Los Angeles crime dramas. You could see where all the TV shows got all their ideas from. Every single one of them is happening in those novels. And they're about like an hour and a half long. Most of them you could find on YouTube for free. But they're great. I used to listen to those when I first started living here, and it was like literally I could stand on a street corner with the book in my hand, and it would be describing the building I was looking at. It's so incredible.
Wow.
Because he's literally telling you the street corner, and he's telling you where the sun was behind him. And if you stand with the sun behind him, like at the hour he's talking about, he describes the building and the store that used to be there back when the book was written. It's amazing.
Wild.
Amazing stuff. I can almost find some of the mansions that he mentions where the murders actually took place. It's really that cool of material. So, yeah, the audiobooks are fun. The best part about it is you could do it while doing laundry or making dinner or, doing the bed or, whatever, you just listen to it maybe a chapter or two at a time.
Oh my lordy. So I saw the first couple of seasons of True Blood and it was okay-ish. But then like once like season 3 and so on hit, I was like, this is so fucking weird. I just can't with it anymore. It just
was
started
pretty
getting weirder and weirder. I'm like, bruh.
and it was pretty weird to begin with. I mean,
Right?
the first
But
couple of
yeah,
episodes, it's like,
it got
oh
beyond
my,
my weird on like season 3 where it was that same one where that woman who could take the form of a cow and shit. It's fucking weird.
I don't know. Once witches
She,
got
she like cast
involved,
a spell
I
on the whole
couldn't watch it
town.
anymore. It got so weird.
Yeah, she cast a spell on the whole town. I was seeing town folk naked. And I'm like, whoa! I didn't want to see that person naked. Whoa.
Yeah,
Like,
it
not
was
to be mean,
strange.
but woof.
But that title song from the first season,
Oh
absolute
yeah,
fire. That thing, I could listen to it on loop for hours
I
on end.
did.
It was so
Oh, he
good.
said that was season 2. Okay, so the weirdness started at season 2. My bad. So yeah, it just became a total shit show. She started kind of fucking everybody in town. I'm just like, good lord. And I'm like,
And it's funny. I completely lost track somewhere in the back of my brain that it was the same girl that played in the first X-Men movie that played Rogue.
oh yeah, she was a like girl who drained people's energy and shit.
And then my brain finally connected that's the same girl in the background of Almost Famous as well. She's one of the
I don't think I
groupies.
saw that, but she was the girl that won an Oscar for the piano when she was like 9.
I was like, it just blew my mind that was the same girl because of the
Really?
blonde hair. It just completely broke my head.
You're right.
Because she was such a different person in that show, like
Right.
totally beyond imagination. She became like this, oh my God, girl, really?
I miss Lafayette. Lafayette was hilarious in that show. He was sassy as fuck. It was great.
Vampires in the South. It was almost, it's hard to believe that they actually made all that work.
Well, I mean, I think it took place in Louisiana, so Louisiana's had a history of like vampire stories, so it kind of worked out in that regard. Like, kind of reflected it.
Kind of like the Kentucky Blue Mountains kind of thing, where there's this magical vibe about the place.
Now, there's a weird ass vibe about Louisiana, especially New Orleans. That's the worst. There's like
And it's been promoting that since everybody became interested in New Orleans.
But once you go through New Orleans city limits, everybody turns into an asshole. It's fucking weird.
The guy who wrote Forrest Gump, he said that New Orleans was wet. Just mentioning it on paper it made the paper wet, he says.
That sounds about accurate.
Yeah, right? Doesn't that totally work? That's great. It's such a great image. It just gets the paper soaking wet. You can't help but make it like, sticky and like treacherous and with alligators.
No one's buried underground in New Orleans. Yeah, pretty much no, because I think in the late 1800s there was I think one of the many epidemics of yellow fever, and so bodies were piling up, and they would kind of bury them as fast as they could, and they weren't getting necessarily the full 6 feet, treatment, and even if they were, sometimes the water would cause the coffins to float to the surface.
Yep.
Yeah, with bodies everywhere, and so you can imagine how gross that was. And so they started doing the above ground crypts.
Yep, which is probably why those things exist in the first place.
Yep. Well, that or it probably exists in other places, but they want it to be fancy. But this was like the only answer they had for having not bodies floating up, because then you have a little separate. You have not so much a yellow fever. Now you got some other nasty issues you got to worry about, like ew. But some of those are about 300-year-old cemeteries.
It's because it's so damp down there. It's like there's no way you were going to escape some sort of. Anytime any disease gets into the air, just the moisture alone is going to contaminate everybody.
Darn near.
It's just too damp. It's too damp. It's so
There's
dangerous.
a lot of times it was good and dry down there, but Boy, when it rains sometimes, my goodness, it does it. It goes all in.
That's why you see so many graveyards lifted above the ground. The
Right?
Tibetans and South American tribes all put a lot of their dead in the mountains in a cubbyhole.
That's probably a good idea. That should last a while.
Yeah, and then they would seep into the stones, and it would always be remembered because you would look towards those mountains to see your actual ancestors.
That sounds nice when you put it that way.
Right? I mean, well, that's the way they thought back then, kind of.
Right.
Landmarking those mountains and the particular direction. Perhaps that mountain range was always at sunrise or sunset to make it more symbolic. Something you would teach your kids as they were learning the language, like they're
Right.
4. The old ways.
Yikes. And I don't want to be burned. I don't know. I don't like any of the options, but I definitely don't want to be burned.
To the best of my magical knowledge, it's probably the best way to go. Unless you seek some continued attachment to the earth, it's best to burn the entire body. Another method is to chop it up and feed it to vultures.
Ew, that's just gross.
That's what the Tibetans do. The Tibetan monks do
But
that.
I'm not Tibetan.
True. It's just an interesting feature. I'm sure the vultures of Egypt may have done that with a few lords because of the sect was probably international at one point, where you'd feed it to a powerful creature of the sky so that your soul would fly away inside their bodies all the time.
But then I'd be a bit of me everywhere. I'm not sure I want to be a bit everywhere.
It's interesting, though. I don't agree with it entirely, but that's the reason why you burn a body as well, is so that, you transmute it into the sky because heat lifts it into the air.
All right.
No longer of this earth, so to speak, moving on to a new life. But that's morbid, but it is Halloween time. Do you have your costume plan? Are you doing a costume thing this year?
Yes. I wasn't sure if I was going to. I was trying to find something that doesn't require much money because I'm poor as fuck. And so I hold on. Let me see if I can find it real quick. I wanted to find something that would work with my blue hair. Oh, here we go. Can I make this picture bigger? Okay. Why is it in fucking Russian? Why did we get Russian? Shit.
Stand by, chat, while we figure this out.
Got it translated now. I was like, what the fuck?
I love all the monkey wrenching in these streams. It's so awesome. Tadar. Is that Jinxie? Jinx?
Yeah.
I was going to call it ahead of time.
I bought some really long, like, blue hair extensions to braid my hair so it'd be, like, ridiculously long. Like, it was like $6. I found 80-inch hair. I was like, yep, that'll work.
See, if anybody's going to do crazy, I would prefer you do arcane crazy. And Jinx is definitely the girl to go with because she is such an incredible character. Fantastic, guys.
My daughter plays League of Legends, and I wanted to pick something that my daughter would think was cool because having your teenager think you're cool is pretty tough.
Oh, you know what? It would be a lark for the two of you to go out with her dressed as Vi.
I think she wants to be like a vampire. I think she's trying to talk her boyfriend to be a vampire hunter.
Oh, that nice.
But the shirt I'm gonna wear because I don't have a body like that. Actually, almost nobody does. It's the one that's kind of like a black tank top. Only mine will be a whole tank top, not a crop top. And I don't have the striped shorts, but I do have plaid shorts. So,
are you going to staple your leg with real staples?
Staple my leg? I didn't know this was a staple situation. What the fuck?
There's a part of the show where she staples up a womb in real time while she's arguing with her mental self. It's so.
That part sounds like me, but no, I'm not gonna staple. Brett's like, comrade? Yeah, the page was in Russian at first. I was like, and they gave me the option to translate into English. Because, I mean, we weren't reading that part, but I was like, this throws me off seeing it. I'm like, what?
Well, how did that even happen? Was it
I
because?
clicked on it, and that's what happened.
So what? Like your connection is partially. So the computer thought you were Russian for a second there. Is that
I
what
think
happened?
I just clicked on a picture. It may have been to a Russian Wikipedia for all I know.
Leave us alone, Russian bots. Cut it
Oh,
out.
don't worry about the Russians. They're fine. Don't worry about them. Worry about some of the people who still have the Ukrainian flag in their profile pic.
I don't worry about anything anymore because I welcome so many disaster forms. It's like at this point, it's like whatever you're bringing, just bring it already. Whatever epiphany, right? The hyper centering quantum event of the computer suddenly realized that we're all trash and starts wiping us all out. Whatever's gonna happen, just get on with it already.
That's too cute
Like that
sometimes.
meme from Monty Python. It's like, get on with it.
Love it.
Absolutely fantastic.
I started the stream and I was like, I have no idea what I'm going to do, but I did find a video I thought was funny and I was going to share that. It was talking about the Great Emu War. And I'm like, the fucking what? I had to watch that. I was like, holy crap, that's great. And we ended up talking about movies or shows, and I'm like, that works. That works for me.
Well, let's have it then.
Okay. Let me share screen, share audio, because you're going to definitely want to hear this guy. Chrome tab. Alright, so there we go. So we'll get this started. Everybody can see it, hopefully. Just give it a second, make sure, because I've heard sometimes it takes a minute to load properly. So,
the fire suppression system that I may or may not have almost set off. Anyways, back to the emus. Now, if you don't know what an emu is, it's this thing right here. It's basically an ostrich from Wish.com, or a black and white Charlie Chaplin version of a cassowary, if that's what you're into. And if you don't know what an Australian is, well then good for you. Just kidding. That was really punching below the equator, and I apologize. Okay, I'm done. I mean, probably not, but we'll see how this goes. Anyways, our story takes place in Australia in 1932. This is the height of the Great Depression, and like many other countries, Australia is not doing that great. Food is scarce and people are hungry. Luckily, they live in Australia, a lush landscape that will indefinitely provide for them. And when I say provide, I mean it spawned an angry mob of 20,000 6-foot-tall devil pigeons that tried to eat all their crops, subsequently starving everyone. And I'm not just throwing in cool words. An actual group of emus is called a mob. That's how gangster these fucking birds are. Physiologically speaking, they're basically fucking dinosaurs. They can run 30 miles an hour. It's basically impossible to hit them with a headshot. And between their feathers and muscles, they're so dense it takes 10 bullets to put one down. Like I said, they're basically cassowaries, and one of those things killed Florida man. That should be all you need to know. So the farmers, realizing that these roided out pigeons are about to force everybody into starvation, aka the communism diet, decide to call up the Minister of Defense and ask for help. He comes up with the great idea of dispatching the army with machine guns to go kill all these birds. Not a terrible idea. As an American, that seems reasonable to me. I mean, you got a problem? Just shoot it till it goes away. That's just science. It's a lollipop method. How many licks does it take? Now, this is part of the story where people like to play it off like the entire Australian military deployed to go fight these birds in epic battle. And that is simply not what happened. They literally only sent 3 dudes with 2 Lewis machine guns and 1 truck. Not 300, not 3,000, 3 fucking dudes. And they only gave them 2 Lewis machine guns and 1 truck. And then, to top it all off, they only gave them 10,000 rounds of ammunition to go up against 20,000 birds. So right off the bat, the math already isn't math. Luckily for us, however, they did send a camera guy. And this dude could apparently see into the future because he immediately started trolling these guys the entire time. Go ahead and play the tape.
The scouts of the advancing army have keen eyesight. And in order to get close to the main body, our lads have to do some real stalking.
Now, despite the camera guy openly mocking them to their face, they get to work and start blasting.
Now they're retiring.
God damn, I can hear the ringing in that guy's ears. Now, this continues to go on for a little over a month. Then when they finally run out of ammunition, they've killed 986 of these birds. At which point, the Australian government deems that this isn't effective enough, so then they implement a bounty system and civilians are allowed to hunt them and cash in their hides for money. And then that was it. That's the end of the fucking story. And then the internet goes and plays it off like it's some huge loss on the Australian military. Like, that doesn't even make sense. The scoreboard was 986-0. And then the game ended when the people winning decided they were bored and went home. It sounds like a W to me. Like, imagine with me, if you will, you're at a house party, you and 20 of your friends. Jason Voorhees shows up and murders one of your friends. And then he decides to leave on his own accord because he's bored. Are you and your friends going to stand around like, wow, that was a great victory for us. We've won. No, that's fucking dumb. Buh! You had to kill all 20,000 of them for it to be a victory. Buh! That is the dumbest logic on the planet when you apply it to literally any other situation ever. You know what? Let me just show you. Let's do this for fun. World record for hot dog eating. 63 hot dogs in one sitting. Pfft. What a loser. He didn't eat every hot dog on Earth in one sitting. How did I get tricked into defending Australia in this? I mean, I don't think Australia lost by any stretch of the imagination, but I do think America could have done it better. I mean, option A, you just treat it like we treat feral hogs. Start selling tickets so civilians can shoot them out of a helicopter with machine guns. Not only are you not spending tax dollars to get rid of these things, you're actually making money. And then, option 2, you just start a proxy war. Just send over millions, maybe even billions of dollars worth of military hardware to the emu's natural enemy. In this case, it'd probably be the kangaroos. And then, maybe we'll send over some Green Berets to train the kangaroos how to use the weapons appropriately. Bada bing, bada boom, the kangaroos do all the dirty work for you. PETA can't even get mad. Okay, we're getting sidetracked. In conclusion, the Great Emu War did in fact happen, but it is greatly exaggerated by the internet. And I'm not going to lie, I think the Australians are blaming the emus because of it. You see, before the Great Emu Civil War, they were considered an endangered species and protected. And now their conservation classification is who gives a fuck. And some of the only nuclear tests ever conducted in Australia were conducted at a place called Emu Field. I'm just saying, if you're an emu and you're somehow watching this, I wouldn't be fucking around too much because you might actually find out. Thank you for watching. Best way to support the channel is go buy some merch at thefatelectrician.com. Quack bang.
Absolutely
Out.
fantastic. That's fantastic.
Yeah, I saw that. I was like, I have to share this with everybody. I fucking do.
That's
The way this guy explains things is so great.
yeah. His timing is great. It's just good stuff.
Yeah, I feel like. Do I have more videos actually? Oh, I don't.
Well, his editor's doing a lot of the heavy lifting as well.
Right.
Yeah, it's really punchy. But the story itself, I was not aware of it. I was kind of aware of it a little bit. I may have even seen something a while back, but the idea that even happened, and then 3 guys with a few boxes of ammunition are just like, oh yeah, okay, yeah, you thought so, huh? Yeah. All right, we're not even going to bother anymore. We're just going to sell licenses to shoot you guys to death at their whim. So we're going to retire. We'll see you guys later. Have fun being almost on the edge of extinction for the rest of your lives.
I need to find that. There's like another video, and I'm trying to find it to show it to you. Oh my God, the CBs. You know who they are, right?
The CBs?
Yeah.
Nope, not really.
Construction Battalion of the U.S. Navy.
Okay.
So we will play that for you next because that I saw that one before and it's fucking hilarious. It's just too much. It's great. So let's make this a little bigger. Sure, my volume's good. All right.
Today we're talking about the coolest job you've probably never heard of. This episode is brought to you by Mike, a veteran of the 25th Infantry Division, aka the Tropic Lightning, aka Nikola Tesla's Strawberry. And as you can see, he served back when they were still rocking the Lord's flannel. Thanks for your service, Mike. Now, if you don't know, the CBs are the Navy's construction battalion. Construction being C, battalion being B. To make up the acronym CB, that's where they get CBs. See what they did there? Sneaky seamen. But seaman and sailor aren't entirely accurate terms. A, men and women can be CBs. B, this is like the only job in the Navy where you don't have to go on a boat. All right, so what the fuck do these men and women do? Well, they're basically construction workers with machine guns. Now, I've been in the military, and I am currently a journeyman electrician, which is basically a spicy construction worker that does not have to pick up after himself. Yeah, I went there. You want power or not? Now, the reason I bring this up is because I can personally attest to the fact the military and the construction industry are the 2 career paths that absolutely give the least amount of fucks on the planet. And apparently when you mix those 2 together, you get a bee with a machine gun and a hammer. The CBs are renowned in the military for not giving a fuck, which is impressive. It's like being the Michael Jordan of fuck lacking. And just for reference, Jordan is better than LeBron. How else can I put this? Even Marines don't fuck with CBs. I'm not saying the CBs will win in a fight, also not saying they wouldn't, but fighting a CB is a lose-lose scenario, because even if you win, still gonna wake up the next morning with your Humvee on blocks and no fucking tires. That is a true story from one of my viewers. Now, I can't confirm this, but I would assume that the video game Fortnite was inspired by the Navy CBs. If you don't know, that is a video game where you shoot at someone and then they very quickly build a bunker and then shoot you back. Now, technically, the Seabees are not an offensive unit. They are strictly defensive. But they're trained by Marine cadre in how to fight, and Marines are pretty world-renowned for only playing offense. So what I think they mean by that is, the Seabees are pretty content just drinking beer and building things, but if you get in the way of that, they will set their tools down and reach for the old cordless hole puncher and throw you an ass whooping. Seriously, I looked online for about 45 minutes. I cannot find a single account of Seabees losing an inch of ground anywhere ever. So don't let the defensive unit thing fool you. Now, if you're still not picking up what I'm putting down, basically the Seabees follow in right behind the Marines, and they build infrastructure so that the rest of the military can follow. They are basically doing construction on the front lines. Now, for clarification, CB isn't just one MOS or job. The term CB applies to a wide range of different jobs, or as the Navy calls them, rates. These different rates are basically just all the different skilled trades. You can be an electrician, a plumber, a welder, a carpenter, a concrete guy, but with a machine gun. And in camouflage, not high-vis. Nobody tell OSHA. So in conclusion, the CB motto is can do, because these men and women get shit done, whether it's a war zone or not. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you enjoy my content and maybe like to buy me a beer about it, there's a link for that right here.
Yep.
That was not the video I thought it was, so I'm trying to find...
That worked too, though.
Because there's one that's absolutely fucking hilarious, and I have to figure out where it went.
The construction people in the real world are not much different. Just they're not allowed to be armed.
I got to figure out what this video is, because it's a story about the CBs and in a particular mission that they did, and so I have to go find it now.
I could totally believe that some military guys would just put your car up on blocks as a, hey, you thought you won this fight? Think again. We know when you sleep. And we have guys working 24 hours a day at your command, so get in line.
Oh,
Yeah.
the great train robbery.
We're talking about
that's the one I was looking for. Here we go. Oh, this is so fucking great.
CB train robbery. And when I say they robbed a train, I don't mean they boarded it like Jesse James and stole everybody's valuables. I mean they straight up deboed a train, like the whole thing. And if you don't know who the CBs are, I did a whole video on them, but basically it's the Navy's construction battalion. You can think of them as construction workers with machine guns. They're pretty world-renowned for their ability to build, fight, drink a lot, and overall just not give a duck. I can't swear for the first 30 seconds or I'll get in trouble. So once upon a time in Korea, September 15th, 1950, the United States Marine Corps, accompanied by the 1st Amphibious CB Battalion, would make an amphibious landing in Incheon. They would immediately begin advancing eastward towards their objective, Seoul. 9 days into this advance, an aerial reconnaissance mission would report back that there were 8 abandoned train locomotives inside of a depot outside of a small town known as Yongdong-po, in between Incheon and Seoul. Needless to say, Uncle Sam wanted these trains because, as I'm sure you can imagine, if you're trying to move an entire army from an amphibious landing site further inland, a train would be pretty fucking handy. But Uncle Sam had no idea how to actually acquire them. So Uncle Sam would make an appointment with the CBs, because everybody knows the CBs only perform miracles by appointment. If you don't know, the CBs build stuff for a living. And if you're good at building stuff, you're good at unbuilding stuff. It's just science. It's because of those talents they are world-renowned for their ability to steal shit. I mean, strategically relocate equipment to alternate locations. So 9 CBs volunteer to go yoink these trains. They take off behind enemy lines and make it all the way to the depot completely unnoticed. Sneaky seamen. Shortly after arriving at the depot, they realize that the depot is neighboring a very large brewing facility. Yeah, shit's about to get out of hand. So in a display of flawless military bearing, half the CBs began prepping the locomotives to move, and the other half began tactically acquiring crate upon crate of beer. Fucking teamwork makes the dream work. By dream, I mean we're gonna get fucking hammered and steal a train. Fucking America. So they finish loading up on beer and take off in the trains undetected. Alright, full stop. I cannot imagine being a bad guy on the same battlefield as the Marine Corps and the CBs at the same time. Like, if something goes bump in the night, it cannot be good. It's either the Marine Corps and they're about to start yeeting the spicy footballs at you, or it's the CBs and they're actively stealing your shit. I mean, how's that old Bible verse go? The Marine Corps yeeteth, and the CBs yoinketh away? At least I think that's how that went. Anyway, so the CBs are making their way back with these trains, and it's going great. Then they come up on a section of track that's been sabotaged, like they've just been cut in half. Now, it's at this point that any rational person is going to ditch the train, grab the beer, and take off on foot. But these aren't rational people. They're CBs. They're fucking nuts. So they straight up just stop the trains in the middle of enemy territory, get out and repair the train tracks before taking off again. Do you understand how psychologically damaging that has to be for the enemy? The CBs came into your territory, repaired your bad guy infrastructure just so they could steal your shit. That would be like the fire department showing up because your house was on fire, putting the fire out, and then stealing all your shit. Like, you're getting outclassed on a level that's just not even comprehensible. Sir, the CBs stole our train and all of our booze. I thought I told you to sabotage the tracks so they couldn't do that. We did, sir. They repaired them and then stole it anyways. Shit. Shortly after they get the trains moving again, they get ambushed by the North Koreans, which basically turns into a giant game of rock, paper, ambush, I have a fucking train, move. The CBs just straight up drive right through it. But they continue to make their way back to the front line, and there was apparently a miscommunication because nobody told the Marine Corps that the CBs would be coming through with locomotives. So naturally, the Marine Corps assumes that the North Koreans are using the trains to launch an attack. So they also begin firing on the CBs. And luckily, the Marines have attention to detail because right as they were about to whip out the bazooka and start blowing up the locomotives, some of the Marines noticed that they were actually CBs on board and not North Koreans and called for a ceasefire. And at that point, a famous interaction happened where a lower enlisted Marine turned to his commanding officer and said, "Imagine that, sir, there was doggies beyond the front line." Doggies referring to Marines because they're devil dogs. To which the commanding officer replied, "Those aren't Marines, it's the damn CBs again." Now, according to the official documents, all the booze was thrown out because they were scared that it may be poisoned. However, according to the CBs, it absolutely was not poisoned because they were drinking it the whole time. But in conclusion, the CBs are world renowned for their ability to build, fight, and given the opportunity, they will absolutely steal your shit at night. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Best way to support the channel is go buy yourself some.
Oh my God. Why isn't that a movie?
That was the video I had originally thought the CB video was. So y'all end up getting a twofer on that one.
Fantastic.
And I've met one or two CBs. They absolutely do drink, and fucks given very few. Oh my goodness, Insanity. I hope you got to see the video because it's right up your alley. I mean, I don't think he's a Navyman, but like, I think he would have found it funny.
Any guy would, you know.
Explaining the CBs.
I can imagine any guy would. I love that kind of stuff. Can you imagine how well equipped those guys must have been to pull that off?
Oh yeah, yeah. They went prepared and were completely savage.
I can only imagine. They were probably like literally talking about what they were going to eat for dinner tonight as a way to like keep their spirits up.
Hold up.
You know, making bets on who was going to pay for the beers when they got back, or you know what I mean? Like right out of a friggin' comic book, like jolly as hell getting this done. You know, like a Viking ship. Laughing their asses off or something. Is there a mic issue on Kitty Cat's side of the fence? It's hard to tell. Oh, she may have just stepped away.
Sorry, yeah, I was saying goodbye to my kitten. She's going to go over to her dad's.
Gotcha.
And so I was giving her hugs goodbye and stuff.
Bye.
She already left. But Apex was in the Navy and we had CBs. Yeah, they do seem to drink and not give a fuck. I have not seen them in action on the field, so I can only assume the guy is telling the truth. But yeah, what's his channel again? It is. Hold on. The Fat Electrician. Like, his shit is so great. I think we should like show some of those videos every once in a while. Because that's awesome. The Trench Sweeper. I would love to hear his take on that. That would be great.
How'd you come across him?
Oh, he's on TikTok, and that's where I originally saw the Great Train Robbery.
Oh, okay.
And that's what
I'll bet he's got a link in his comments, in his comment section.
Ooh. I didn't know about that.
Well, it's a possibility. It would certainly be smart of him to link whatever wiki he was using.
It has a P.O. box. And, an email for business inquiries.
Then perhaps not.
So, well, I mean, I could check. Maybe let me go to his main channel. Maybe the About would have it.
Well, not about that particular document, but
no, I'll see if it had a link to his TikTok, and it does not.
Oh,
but you can find him on TikTok with the same name, though. Yes. Yeah, that guy is hilarious. The way he tells stuff, like,
Yeah, it's got a lot of bounce to it. It's great. It's dry. It's just so dry that it works.
I know.
I love that kind of humor. That kind of humor is really, really good.
Indeed. It's magical.
I remember Dennis Miller was really good at that back in the day.
Oh, yeah. When he'd do that news thing on Saturday Night Live.
Yeah, but even his stand-up, actually, his old form of stand-up before he really hit the scene, he was it was basically like he turned into your dad, and he was so much smarter than you. It was just you were a fool to even like try to get around him. You know what I mean? Like that's what his
Right.
comedy was like. It was priceless, and he was fast. He was so fast on. He just barrage you with pages of information in a few minutes on stage, and then just look at you like, I'm so disappointed. I'm so disappointed in you for doing this. It was great. It's great stuff.
Indeed. I don't think I'm cool enough, but I can try.
Who says that?
No, he wants me to invite the fat electrician. And I'm like, I don't think I'm cool enough, but I can try.
Right. You could always ask.
Let me see how many followers he got. Yeah, he is not going to fucking even ignore. Yeah, he's not going to acknowledge me.
Right. He's got a staff.
He's got 265,000 followers. He doesn't give a fuck about my channel.
It's an ocean of followers. It's amazing.
I will look at somebody's follow list on that one. Because if they have a shit ton, there is no way they're going to talk to me. Like, no.
Right.
I'm not cool enough. TheFatElectrician.com. I am tempted to be like, hey.
Hey, Unhinged.
Ooh, hold on. I gotta go back to what tab I'm on. I don't see Unhinged listed. Oh, there he is. Meow. I think it took a second to show up over here. Let's see. Oh, darn. I don't know where else to go with this. I didn't know this was going to go swimmingly. Oh. Soccer is live. Oh. And they're talking about worst wrestling characters. Okay. I can live without that one.
Yeah, I don't know much about
I'm not really a fan of any of it. But, yeah. Hold on. Oh, hi, Isaac. Sadly, I will not be governor because the system is very corrupt and it's a lot of bullshit. And now we basically got a choice between two pieces of shit. Actually, there's 4 pieces of shit, but there are 2 front runners.
Where's this? Your local elections or something for November?
For the first shout out I got on YouTube was from a guy who had 26. Yeah, but this guy's got 265,000.
At this point, it's like my confidence has been blown in the whole system for a while now. It's like just the process of voting feels almost fake. Like, why am I doing this?
Does. There's like weird inconsistencies and stuff that I've noticed in our local system, which TikTok didn't like. And I'm like, but I'm dragging Republicans at this point. Like, you think they'd be happy, but no.
It's going to get weird. Let's see. We'll see how weird it's going to get.
Shit. At least here it is.
It's going to be interesting.
Oh, it's like, what kind of disaster will we get this time? Let's spin the wheel.
Well, and not even that. It's just as 2024 approaches, all kinds of strange things are going to be going on coincidentally. And it's going to be like, wait a second, what? You know, just articles being brought up, they would never be brought up in any other context. And then a few weeks later, we find out that they were from 5 years ago and aren't even relevant anymore. And it's like, you know, just madness.
Oh, it is. It is such madness. I'm getting reflux thinking about it. Like, oof.
Yeah, exactly. It's like the whole process of turning it all off in your head is exhausting. It's like, I turned on the TV to escape.
I turned it off for a while in my head, but part of my brain's like, nope.
We can only hope, Apex. We can only hope that all kinds of truths will be revealed, unless you're talking about truths behind your comic books that you're producing.
Yeah.
So those videos are great. I love stories like that where it's like
Oh, pizza. Mm.
above and beyond.
Yeah, I'm trying to be on a strict diet. Like my dinner so far has been watermelon. I had like a bowl of salad for breakfast. That was lunch, really. But like I don't know. I don't know if it's. I think it's some depression, anxiety, whatever. Man, I'm like a nonstop eater. So I'm like, okay, so we're not going to get that under control, clearly. So let's change what I'm eating. Maybe that will help.
Right.
It's like, all right.
Well, did it?
Fruit, salads, just wolf them down, man. Man, you'd think I hadn't eaten in days. Like, holy crap. I could not eat out in public. I tell you what. Like, you would not want to take me to a restaurant. Man, they'd be like, that poor starving girl.
That can't be entirely true.
I made the salad, and I, walked over here to the couch, and I was about half done, and it didn't take me long to finish that. I was like, oh, Lord. Like, if I had been basic, I probably would have left the line and got to my seat about the time I finished my food. That's probably what would have happened.
So quiet dignity and grace.
See, now, okay, so now it's the Halloween season. We're going to have to do Young Frankenstein now. Quiet dignity and grace, and he just rolls his eyes like, like, I heard that, and I'm like, oh, Mel Brooks, God help me.
Oh, thank you for recognizing. It's so funny. It's sometimes it really gets hit or miss with these things that are like trading cards. Like you could say a quote, and you know exactly what happens in that whole movie just because of that one quote.
Yeah, he had that breakdown, and he's like, yeah, quiet dignity and grace.
You could almost recite the scene live right now, right?
Right?
It's awesome. It's so awesome. That's a meme. That's a real one. That's a real meme. Stabbing himself in the leg.
No, that was in the beginning part at the classroom, but yeah.
Yeah, or him blowing her a kiss and she avoids it.
She didn't avoid it. She tried to catch it.
No, she didn't try to catch it. She tried to avoid it. She didn't want to ruin her hair with his fake kiss.
No, he's not the blowing her a kiss. Like, all right. So he tried to kiss her, and she's like, oh no, not my, it'll mess up my makeup, my lipstick. And so, he tried to hug her, and she goes, taffeta. He's like, what? Taffeta. It dresses taffeta. It wrinkles so easily. And so he tried to shake her hand. She's like, my nails. And so he tried to do elbows with her and shit like that.
Right.
And then as he's leaving, he blows her a kiss. And she puts her hand up and tries to catch it, and then the smoke gets her in the face, and she's all coughing and shit.
That's so funny. I always saw it as her trying to avoid it, like "Don't touch me," which made more sense.
Blowing the kiss wouldn't do that.
Yeah, but it was supposed to be comedic that she didn't. This is in my head, of course, because who knows? It's fantastic that there's another interpretation out there.
No, I think he blew the kiss. I think she was trying to catch it. Like, hold on. Like, I think she did it like that. Now I have to go find it. Fuck. Okay.
That's hysterical. Madeline Kahn, indeed.
I hope I don't get a copyright hit for this.
Hey, Hector. I think there's a GIF. You could probably just find a GIF. But I don't know how that works with displaying it in a shared screen. So we got Optic, and we got Hector, and of course Apex, and Unhinged. Nice.
Darling.
Oh my God. I think the bitch was dodging it.
She was dodging it, right?
Oh my God. I think she actually was. What the fuck? I never noticed that. I thought she was just weird.
Wow, that's so weird. I thought it was like a Mandela effect.
No, not this time.
Yeah, that's crazy, right? Like you totally see that as like super high comedy. She's
okay, yeah, because That's so weird. I thought she was like moving funny to try to catch it, but she has like shitty sports ability, so she couldn't. That came
Just
out
to
of
show
nowhere,
how
right?
delusional she is. She's completely insane.
Oh yeah, she's totally nuts. That's why she ends up with the monster. It's weird.
That's true. Yeah.
He's in
Yeah.
there singing and acting weird, and he's just looking up from his paper and rolling his eyes. He looks at the camera like, "Oh God."
He's like, I'm so done with this chick.
Yeah, I had to look
Again,
that up because I was like, did she dodge it? I'm like, sure. I thought she was just like uncoordinated and tried to catch it because I saw her hand come up and close, so I thought she was trying to catch it.
that's so sweet of you to think so. That's innocent sun child of the summer.
Oh.
Summer child.
It wouldn't have dawned on me that someone would dodge a kiss being blown at them. So I'm like,
That's
what
yeah.
the fuck?
That's when she becomes a terrible woman. That's a Don't marry her.
Yeah, she is kind of like, God.
That's fantastic. Young Frankenstein was so good.
Would you like a roll in the hay?
Oh my God. And Terry Garr, at best, she's 23 years old in that film.
Oh wow.
At best. I can't imagine she's any older than in her early 20s.
Right. Yeah, I have no idea. Someone could look that up, but I do not know.
Which blows my mind. I have nieces that are in their early 20s. It's like, you gotta be kidding me. Like,
God, I
oh
feel
my
old.
God. I'm rolling to hay. What
Roll,
knockers? And she's like,
roll in
oh,
the hay.
thank you.
Oh my God. Oh my God. So like my daughter's dad and I, we have this thing. Well, he kind of does it. He'll yell Frau Buka, and he'll see who responds, and whoever goes, "Arr!" I can't do it. I can't do the horse noise, but and he just cracks up. It goes, yeah. But yeah, it's Frau. Hold on, I'll have to spell it in the.
Frau Bucher.
That might be the spelling. Frau meaning woman.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think that's how you spell it. Frau. What was that horse sound? Yeah, it was me trying to make a horse sound, but I can't make a horse sound.
I don't think I could do it right now, too, without hacking my brains out from coughing.
Yeah, it's short for Fraulein. Yes, nice job, Optic. It's short for Fraulein, but they'll say Frau instead.
It's such a great bit.
It's
Everybody
like
I've ever
or
seen
lady.
watch the movie gets it. Everybody gets it. It's one of the funniest parts of the movie for some people.
The whole thing is pretty good. Like some of it's just ridiculous.
Absolutely fantastic. Yeah. And I love that it's black and white. I thought that was a brilliant choice. Making him.
Oh, putting on the Rick.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I was a kid when I first saw that, and I was just like, "What the?"
Right?
That was the first time I'd heard "Putting on the Ritz." Was them. My parents were like really big fans of. Oh, my brain went down. Oh, it's buffering.
Mel Brooks.
Thank you, Mel Brooks. Yeah, my brain was buffering. Sorry. Man, I am so hungry. Oh my God. That watermelon did not last long. Huh? I may leave you here to entertain everybody. I'm going to go make a fast salad.
Nice, sister. Okay.
I know, I'm constantly hungry. And so I don't know. Maybe I have a tapeworm. I don't fucking know. But man, I tell you what, you'd think I'd be thinner if I had a damn tapeworm. But
that would be terrible if you had a delicious tapeworm stuck deep inside your guts, lingering there, sapping your life force from you.
What? Wow, what knockers. Oh, thank you, Doc. That shit was funny. What am I cheating on? I'm gonna have a fucking salad. Lordy.
Optic racer with their finger waggling.
Right. Oh, my back hurts too. Oof. Apex, would you like to hop up here? I'm gonna have a salad, motherfucker. My dinner was watermelon. Leave me alone.
My dinner tonight was water and coffee because I had a very good breakfast.
Must have been a really good breakfast.
Well, it was eggs, bacon, some bread. So that's good enough for me, considering how much I actually move around.
Well, fair enough.
I go totally caveman these days, like, the barest of bare essentials.
If I can get Apex up here, he can keep you entertained while I'm making my salad.
Oh, yeah, there we go. There we go.
What's going on over here?
Join us.
Optic's all texting me being a booger. He's like, did I make myself clear? Nope. Little booger.
Hysterical.
Who's texting me? I put the link in the chat.
Oh, he's probably just his timing.
Maybe.
Yeah. I've been noticing the timing being very interesting, the way things come up and when they do and how long it takes, and that there is a variance a lot of times, even without a mod intervening. There's some interesting variance. It's weird. There's something clunky going on.
Oh, yeah. Definitely clunky.
Have you seen the avatar disappear recently?
Yeah. I have to, switch them out. Is that happening to me?
No, I keep my eyeball on both just to be sure. Because that's embarrassing.
The one time I was live streaming, I looked at it a little later and found out I didn't have a picture at all. I was like, motherfucker. Wish somebody
and it's always weird. Do I mention it? Do I not mention it? Do they not care?
Yes, please do mention it.
Okay. But that's been happening less and less. I've noticed it happen I haven't noticed it happen recently. So
I don't know. Yeah,
that was something clunky going on with images and where they came from. It's weird. It's always weird.
Hector.
Hey.
He's got his milkshake ready.
Hey, Hector.
How are you doing?
Optic, no, I don't actually collect toys. I used to collect. I do collect a lot of media and books, though. DVDs mostly, too. But I stopped collecting years ago when everything kind of shut down. I have plenty on hand, boxes, in fact, of media, including some of my favorite owns are an original VHS tape with Mighty Orbots, with 2 episodes from Mighty Orbots in a clean box, printed box, which is like an old Saturday morning robot series. My prized possession. And how you doing, Hector?
All right.
What's been going on with you? Pretty good.
Same old thing.
Yeah, don't keep us in suspense now.
But it's the same old day, same old thing.
Well, welcome.
Thanks.
Welcome thing. So, hear any shocking news or any wondrous stuff going on in the press that you were just like, what the heck, man, really? Or
what they're doing in Boston, University of Boston.
What's going on there?
They're messing around with the coronavirus.
What, seriously?
Yeah.
Whatever. Okay. I swear, we're continuously living in some prequel to a zombie movie.
Yeah.
It's like, okay. Well, I guess we got to just let them screw around. It's not like we could go there and tell them to stop.
That's true.
Even if we did, we'd probably be getting beaten up by people that thought we were too, primitive, too misogynistic. Why are you putting your grandmother in danger? I don't have any grandmothers left, actually. So I don't have to worry about my grandmother's in danger. Good grief, man. What a mess.
Yeah.
Got media actually laughing about making fun of us. These are some hard times, all first world hard times, of course. So where in the world are you coming from, Milkshake?
CEO,
From where?
Colorado.
Okay. So mountain time. What time zone do you cover usually? Central or Pacific?
Mountain time.
Okay. Yeah, I'm out in California.
Oh,
So what is it, like 7 o'clock right now for me?
yeah, it's like 8 o'clock then right here.
Yep. Cool deal, man. I know that was in New Orleans, Louisiana area, if I'm not mistaken.
No, I'm more like near Denver.
No, I'm saying Kitty is.
Oh,
That's my understanding. I might be wrong. I'm sure the chat will correct me. Optic, I'm sure. Slap me on the side of the head if I'm wrong. But yeah, we're gonna see what happens next, right? I mean, what's the because we just
yeah.
had all kinds of major shows end and got all kinds of political things about to happen in November, at least here in the US. So a lot of things are going to change for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Where you been streaming at recently? You on any other panels?
No, not streaming.
And that dead air. Good grief. I'm a terrible, terrible first mate on deck. While salads are being made for the delicious maw or delicious mawing or delightful enjoyment of Moya, Kitty.
Yeah.
I wonder if she'll be crunching on Mike. We'll actually get some good data on her crunching pattern. Like, how much of a kitty is she? She's probably eating right now. That's why her mic is still off. But her mic isn't off, actually.
It'll take a minute.
Oh boy.
So let's see what the chat has been saying anyway. Apex is saying, I'm not coming up there. No way, man. I don't care if you put StreamYards in the chat. I'm not coming up there. I'm telling you. I'm not doing it.
No. Oh.
I'm surprised he hasn't come up yet, which is he must be involved in something else.
Yeah.
Have we seen any cool movies? Let me see now. What cool movies have we seen? I've revisited a movie called Iron Skies. Are you familiar with that one, Hector?
No.
It's a movie from Sweden, I think, or Finland. But it's the U.S. female president sends up as a publicity stunt a capsule to the moon, back on the moon for the first time since the moon landings, right, back in the 60s.
Oh.
And on board is quite literally a Jamie Foxx level celebrity actor.
Hey,
Right?
Oh, look who's here.
how you been?
Have you seen Iron Skies, Apex?
Iron Skies. You talking about that Comicscape book?
It's Iron Skies. It's Nazis on the dark side of the moon. It's
No,
a live action film.
Really? What year did it come out?
Not that long ago, 2003 maybe.
Oh wow.
There was a comic book called Iron Skies. There's a can and white cover. I bought it like last year, I think. I haven't read it yet, but it looks really cool.
Yeah, that's a movie I'm just recently revisiting. It's bizarre. It's got so much meta to what's going on today. Like
Who's
the
in
Nazis. Nobody you would know.
Oh.
It's all these guys from Finland. It's a Finn movie.
Oh, okay.
It's northeastern Europe.
Did you watch on
Staying in
Netflix
industry.
or what?
you know what? I think maybe Hulu, maybe.
Okay.
I would have to check. But if you
Sounds-
type in Iron Skies, it's a film early 2000s.
Oh wow.
It's quite literally Nazis invade Earth from the dark side of the moon, left over from World War II. Not joking. That's exactly what happened. And Sarah Palin is the president of the United States.
No shit.
So, and they launch a military aircraft from the satellite, and it's called like the George W. Bush.
Oh, Lord.
Okay,
Wow.
it's epically silly. It's like what Saturday Night Live would do with like this kind of storyline.
That's great, man. I gotta see this. I've been doing some research on some Nazi flying saucers being researched through almost up toward the end of World War II. There have been some.
Yeah, they had some sort of electrofluid dynamic system where they were able to generate a turbine that was all. It was like there was a plasma involved, but they were using water to push the system.
Antarctica involved in this mess?
Who knows?
They've been researching it since the 1920s. Germany has electromagnetic propulsion, electromagnetic energy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Germans always getting into some weird shit.
I love it though. I'm doing research so I could do a Madam X. One of my characters from World War II. She's a British super spy of 1,000 faces. Yeah. Created her back in 1998. So yeah, I did a mini comic of her. I think I've got one of them right here. Let me look it up. Let me find it. So what the hell is? Yeah, I made these 2 mini comics back in the day, late 90s. It's Madam X and Nikolai Star. It was a Russian super soldier, and then got Madam X, super spy with 1,000 faces, who's assigned to assassinate Adolf Hitler. And I made a Madam X special after that. Yeah, here it is right here. Like a little ash can book.
Ooh.
Yeah, pretty cool. Yeah, I actually did all the pages. I did a miniature size. I did. It was like 8.5 by 11, but this is reduced from 8.5 by 11. 2 sheets, 8.5 by 11, drawn in and reproduced at a much smaller scale, and that's how you get these little mini comics. You produce like 8.5 by 11, do 16 pages on one side, 16 pages on the opposite side. You get your 32 pages. Cut them up, you get your giant size mini comic. It's a little experiment I did. It was really cool. I'm thinking about reproducing them again, reprinting them, put different pages. Some of these are like outdated ads that some of these guys are no longer in business. So I thought I'd update them with maybe a pinup or 2, something really cool. But yeah, I'm researching some, Yahtzee flying saucers. I don't know if you can say the Nazi word, but whatever. Yeah, the Nazi bell, allegedly. What was this? The mixture sounds like a stuff used on a Nazi bell. Was that Optic Racer was saying? Okay. I'm reading the chat. Apex Comics, apart from Mego, do you collect any other toy line? Yeah, I have those Marvel Legends figures from Toy Biz, and I have some from, well, of course, Hasbro. Occasionally I'll pick up one. Recently, I think, what was it? GameStop had a really big sale last month of reduced price action figures. You can get them for like even below 50% off. You get them for like $8 each. Normally they're like 20 or 25 each. Anybody here?
Sorry.
Yeah.
I had to think.
Okay, this is like, okay, good. You guys are listening. Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
I was like, no, we dipped out. We're each gonna make a sandwich. Okay, that's cool.
Optic, I saw the vampire movie Let the Right One In, which is the version.
Oh yes, I saw the Polish version, wasn't it? That's better than the U.S. version. Yeah, that was good.
But I've seen the U.S. version, and the other one is far superior, in my opinion.
Yeah, the foreign's much. That's what I heard. I never saw the U.S. version. I saw the one with subtitles.
I think it was Bridget Fonda or something like that. Or who was it? The girl from Kick-Ass. The girl from Kick-Ass.
I don't think
did it.
Bridget Fonda was in Kick-Ass.
No, I've got that
No.
totally wrong. It's the girl from Kick-Ass.
She's like,
The only
that-
the only tolerable Fonda left. What is that?
But
yeah.
what you got, Apex? Come on.
Creature
Sorry
from the
about
Black
that.
Lagoon Mego action figure. Creature. I bought
Ooh.
this for $7 at Walmart. I thought it was gonna be like 15.
I
I
love
bought it
it.
for $7. I was like,
Man, I would want a whole bunch of those.
score. Yeah.
Win.
Love
I
this.
remember when the
movie.
earliest ones came out when I was a kid. I remember I had the Star Trek ones.
Yeah. They
All
still
the
make
Planet of the Ape ones. It was like,
Oh, I love those. Yeah, from the 70s. Those are
I remember
cool.
those when they first came out, man. Going to the toy store, you know.
Oh, I know.
Mom and Dad got away with murder if they brought us to the toy store. Anything you want, Mom. Anything you want, Dad. I'm your slave for the weekend.
I bought the cage, the little prison cage.
Yep.
That's cool. Yeah, put all your
Fantastic.
figures. Yeah, put them in jail. That was fun.
No rubber clothing. It was actually cloth clothing.
Real
all of
clothes,
it.
man.
Unbelievable. It's
Little rubber boots
embarrassing.
to
Those
put on their
rubber.
feet. Yeah.
The
that's
rubber
fun.
cloaks on the Star Wars action figures. It's like, really, guys? Really?
Hey, right.
Terrible.
I know, right? Man. That's cool. Let's see. What do we got? Yeah. Actually, I bought Optigrade. I bought that for a little over $7, I think, for the creature. I was shocked. I was like, kidding me? How did it get so cheap? Maybe it's one of those figures they had to get rid of for some new stock, I'm assuming.
Oh, well, you should check it for variants.
Yeah, right. But I saw it on eBay. They're selling for like $30. So I got $23 off. Yeah,
Madness going on over there.
it is, man.
It's a piranha feeding frenzy.
What?
Ah, let's get the figures. Yes, just snap them up. Sell. Come on, take the money.
It's so
Yeah.
weird. It's like the stock exchange. It's not any
Mhm.
different than the stock exchange. It's just things continuously moving around the planet.
It is. It really is. Well, thankful for eBay or wherever you sell them at.
Yeah. Right? Doesn't Facebook have a platform built in?
I haven't
sell
checked them
stuff?
out. They
I
might.
think Instagram does too, but
Well,
I don't know.
Yeah, anything for revenue, sure.
Yeah, because they get a part of it. The transaction is
do.
processed through their part. So
Yeah,
They
they
get-
get a percentage, right?
they
do.
get a vig. We get a percentage. You know, it's only right
Mhm.
that we're doing a job for you people.
We have the platform here. Respect the platform. Give us a little bit of percentage.
Just a little bit. Just a
Just a
little
little
bit. Not too
bit.
much. We don't ask
No.
much.
And,
Business.
every 5 years they increase the percentage. Like, we motherfuckers. Really?
Oh man.
I know.
Whatever. It's the future.
It's the future of sales. Yes. Let's all get in on the game. No one can rely on just one job, folks. We all have to pull up our bootstraps and succeed and diversify our income. More streams of income coming in. How are we going to do that? Sales through the internet. $30. Yeah. They put back the Silence of the Lambs. Oh, I think they did have a Silence of the Lambs Amigo figures, if I'm not mistaken.
Did they really?
They had a
Wow,
Hannibal
that's
Lecter with a little mask over it. Yeah. That's cool.
That's so
Miko-
awesome.
Ooh, that sounds good.
Yes, they do. Yeah, looking at these, especially like Walmart, the video section where they have the collectibles. That's where
Mhm.
you'll find them. Yeah, I think Target may have some of those too. I follow
Yeah, I've seen
VVS
those in
ones.
LA in Target. Mostly like
Yeah.
the McLaren figures of Sin
McFarlane?
City and stuff like
Yeah.
that. McFarlane, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, McFarlane knows how to put out toys. Good God.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
practically invented the contemporary form with multi-jointed 12-inch
Yeah.
and 18-inch figures.
It seems like Todd McFarlane's going to save DC Comics through his company because building the figures. Plus, he's actually helping produce quality DC Comics through Todd McFarlane. So Todd McFarlane's going to get him into shape somehow. Maybe not all the way, but just a little bit. We'll see how it
Yeah.
goes.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
They're so intertwined now that they're so, it's like, at what
Yeah.
point does a comic book company have to break away from the film industry? so that it can have the freedom to grow and change and do what it has to do. And
Yeah, they did. I think when Disney bought Marvel, I'm thinking, oh, this could be the nail in the coffin, and it pretty much was. After a few years after that.
it's hard to say. It's
Yeah.
hard to say.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. You know what? I've been talking a lot about this concept of legacy. This conversation started off with music, right? With
Yeah.
say the idea that a band is basically aging out of the industry, right?
Right. Yeah.
Do you
Like-
recast the band? Right?
Like
Do you
Kiss.
bring it.
Kiss is going to do that. I heard Kiss was going to do that. Gene Simmons and Paul Stanley. They're talking about that. Yeah, just casting out. It's not going to be the same, obviously. It's going to be different guys playing the same creatures, being on stage and doing tours.
Well, doesn't this go back to that that Greek philosophical model of the ship, right, in the museum? After a while, when you start replacing planks on the ship, at one point, does it stop being the ship you're talking about?
Right.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Right. So the same thing
I
would go
would
for
say at
legacy.
least like
Yeah.
60-40, it's like a replica at that point. You know,
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
true.
you would say about 40%.
like 60-40. Like if 40% is like no longer the ship, like make sure that people understand that, and the rest of it's a replica, so that way
Right.
they don't. Yeah. So it's not false advertising, so to speak.
Right. Yeah.
But
But
the
one thing
honest
is in the
truth
museum,
is,
but
the second it
it's
stops
like a
becoming
golden
seaworthy. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, once it's in the museum, they can temperature control it a bit and make sure it doesn't rot faster or any worse.
Mm.
They probably can put some stuff on it to kind of stop the mold and whatever else is going on it.
Right. Yeah, they could. Mold damage. Yeah, you pretty much tear down most of the ship to get all that crap out. That's
Right. Well, you could go even further and put it inside of a
Bleach.
case that's vacuumed completely.
Yeah.
Right. That it's
Mhm.
in a 0G environment. Even you could do.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of stuff that you could do.
right.
Magnetic buffers, so it's not even receiving vibration from the floor as people
Mhm.
pass by it. You could refrigerate the hell out of it, but
Yeah.
at that point, it's not even the ship anymore. It's an object that is called the ship, right?
Yeah,
Because
pretty
it's
much.
no longer seaworthy. It's no longer in its historical period. So, it's like philosophically, it's no longer the ship, right? It's an object in a museum.
It's a museum, yeah. People go through and check it out.
So
They
at what
do
point
have
does you could recast the Beatles, right? They actually did it for a little while, right? Does everybody remember that when they did the Beatles Now or something, or Beatles Live, or?
Well,
No.
yeah, I did. I saw the Fab Four is back in Tacoma, Washington, in the early 2000s. They were great. They're actually, they do a bunch of Beatles songs. They do the 60s Beatles and then through the Let It Be Beatles after that. Great
Right.
show.
Yeah, would you accept, would the fans of Kiss accept that?
I don't know if they would.
No.
Yeah, that's a hard sell, really. It's just called. What would they call it though? They'd be like.
It'd be a cover band at that point.
It would be a tribute to Kiss when you think about
right?
it.
Right.
They'd be
Yeah.
on a makeup. What's that? Well, there's a band called the Grassroots. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the
Sounds
Grassroots
familiar.
from like the late 60s, early 70s. We family, some people in my family and I saw them in Florida, and they're great. They call themselves the music of the Grassroots. They weren't really the Grassroots, the original guys, but they're hired by, I think some corporation may have bought the Grassroots catalog, and they hired the people to play in the band. And so they're the music of the Grassroots. So they're the guys
Right.
were the Grassroots, but they're played. It sounded just like the Grassroots on the records.
Well, it's
And
my
they're
understanding
great.
that
Yeah.
there's a corporation that owns the property of Journey.
Okay.
And currently there are 2 bands performing as Journey.
All right. Yeah.
Oh wow, that's weird.
That's believable. Yeah. They do
But
that.
one of them has the former lead singer and the other one has the present lead singer.
The Filipino lead singer. Yes. That looks and sounds like Steve Perry. Yeah.
Right. So it's really bizarre. They're currently contesting the rights. And I'm like, don't be dumbasses. Why don't you agree to share the rights?
Both of you will make money. Why fight if you can both make money?
Right. Both make more. As a matter of fact,
Make more
make
money.
a third band. Make a third Journey. Go for it, man. It's like,
Two
why
is
even
enough.
screw around? Do China and Europe and the United States at the same time, right?
Right.
That's wild.
So
It's like it's a different tone of what we were talking about, but not really corporate owned. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the Rascals, like from the '60s.
yeah.
Good Lovin' and all these other hits. Hey,
Yeah.
but they have like two versions of the Young Rascals. It's Young Rascals with Felix Cavalieri, who's the keyboard player and the singer, and they have one with Dino Danelli, who played drums and people in that band. So there's like two different versions. There's like a few oldies bands that are like that. They're still there. They cover a lot of their songs. And
See, I don't have a problem with that. It's,
I don't either.
What does that look like on paper is really the problem.
Right, exactly. Mark Lindsay used to play with Paul Revere and the Raiders. I mean, he still does the Paul Revere and Raiders songs. He's like over 80 years old, but he can still sing like you wouldn't believe.
Right.
He's still active, yeah.
Hey, Potato, pleasure.
Hey, dude.
Hugs, Potato.
Hugs,
Potato.
Curly. How are you?
How you
I'm
doing?
doing fine. I forgot to tell you the flag arrived.
I got a picture delivery from the delivery people.
So now I want to show everybody.
All right.
Yes.
Yeah, I was on PJ Maybe's. He finally got his Rippaverse, and he was wearing his T-shirt.
Nice.
And he's in England, and even the box is just beautifully labeled by the company on the outside. The cardboard packing box is even labeled, so it's awesome. It's an awesome. I tell you, what a historical piece. You know, maybe it's the beginning of something. Who knows? We'll see. We'll see how the revolution goes.
One of the most beautiful flags on the planet.
See that? Oh
Look
wow,
at
that's
that.
cool. Look at that's awesome, Aaron.
Yeah.
Aaron Gabra, Ireland forever. That is the Irish rebel standard.
I like that.
Can you fill us in, Potato, on the lore of the harp?
Essentially, there was a goddess of music, right, who died. Then her son, who was like this war god, but in Celtic mythology, every god has a good and a bad aspect to him. So he was both war and he was peace at the same time.
Right.
Right? He was sun and darkness. He was weird. But essentially what it is that the harp itself was used to lead armies into battle and was also later on was adopted as a symbol of kingship because only the kings could afford these big golden harps. And then the High Kings, the Ardrí of Ireland, he had a golden harp. Now, when the British came in and the Normans and everyone like that, the High Kingship of Ireland got very, very shaky. But they all stood behind this harp. They all started using harps on them. They started painting the little harp on them as more of a memory of what we once were.
Interesting. What time period did it finally disappear into history? The existence of the harps.
The harps are still played in Kilquirms, folk bands.
Okay.
You'd still see harps, but I mean, we're
talking like 1600s, right? Though, it's like the traditional.
No. The Kingship of Ireland was destroyed about we're talking 1000 AD.
Okay. Wow. Okay. So around the time of alleged Roman Empire kind of stuff.
Yeah. Well, more of the early British Empire.
Okay.
This is when the plantation of Ireland came because where the High King of Ireland was extraordinarily close to what's called the Pale. It's the area around Dublin. And that's where his seat of power on his throne was.
Oh.
So when they took that over, they were literally in his back garden. So they said, well, screw it, we're going to kill the High King of Ireland. And then every single lord was like, I'm a king now. So they went from having 4 kings and 1 high king to having 150 kings and 4 what was called was temporal kings.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly, Moira. That's where have any of you ever heard this saying, especially in fiction? Find a hill, throw a rock, become a king.
I have not, but it sounds like fun.
Yeah, I'm
That's
not.
that's how that saying came from Ireland, because they'd say basically anyone could become a king.
Hmm.
There was at one time 150 kings.
Oof.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's how Excalibur legend came about, the sword and the stone, that sort of thing. I mean,
Yeah, pretty much. It's the same. The Excalibur legend came from the Scots, who were the Alba or Albanians, who are actually descendants of an older Irish kingdom called the Dál Ria, who had taken over Scotland, but when it was ruled by one man, and then he died, and he had one son who basically was ruling in name in Scotland, one son ruling in name in Ireland. And they're like, look, we love you. The two brothers are like, I'm not going to fight you. I don't want you to die. We're brothers. I love you. But your wife is a Pict. Your kids, they know Scotland. My kids know Ireland. I will take the throne of Ireland, father's throne, and we will end a high kingship, the union of the two, and you become the king of your kingdom, and I'll become a king of mine, and that's what happened. So Alba, so Scotland in Scots Gaelic is Alba, and that's how it happened. Richard the First, I believe, in English, was the first king of Alba proper.
okay.
He was the son of the brother who took over. So he was literally the first proper king rather than the king of the Dál Ria.
Dollaria?
Yeah, Dál Ria. But it's Gaelic, you roll the R's.
Oh.
Brrr.
Exactly. Yeah, the Dál Ria. It's weird. It's a weird language.
Oh my
Yeah.
God. Yes, it is. Some of that stuff is just not right.
I send Moira, because, like, she's my cousin, I send her videos. There's this TikToker, and he turns around and he's an Irish speaker. He's from the Gaeltacht, which is the Irish region.
Oh. Right.
And he does, because the problem with the Irish language is there's not one word for everything. There's like 6. Right?
Yeah,
You'll
the
find
one
that in
is
a
like-
lot of languages.
Like the I part, like I don't want to be here. Man, there was like 4 different ones for that. I was
like,
like,
what
oh
do you-
my God, my head hurts. Like, what the fuck?
Oh, I'll bet. Oh my gosh.
I want to see if I can find it. Hold on. Let me,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
it'll be
Moira,
funny to
it's in
watch.
her DMs.
Oh, okay.
I dated a
That'll
Russian
certainly
girl,
make it easier.
Yeah?
and she was telling me about a few words in Russian that she said quite literally have a dozen different applications depending upon who you're talking to and even what time of day.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like,
Oh,
you
man,
gotta be
time of
freaking
day?
kidding.
Holy crap.
Seriously?
Oh, I forget. As far as I
One
know,
word meaning 12 different things depending upon what time of day it was. It's like,
Oh.
Right.
wow.
There's literally no word for hello in the Irish language.
Wow,
Oh,
really?
that's telling.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Like, so if you go in, if you're
So,
talking,
wait a second. Where does that lead Lionel Richie? I mean, if he tried to sing his song in Irish, he couldn't sing hello, right?
Just hello.
they sing it in English. He'd sing that word in English.
Mhm.
I got you.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was a really interesting joke that it just fell flat on its face. Sorry about that.
I thought it was great. Don't feel bad.
That's all right. I tell plenty of them like that. No
Oh,
problem.
you want to hear how you introduce yourself in Irish?
Oh,
So I'd say to Stephen, I'd say, first of all, there's 2 ways. Do you want the full way or the short way?
Short.
Okay, first of all, the short way is Conus Tota Makara. Totugama. How are you, translates to how are you, my friend? Are you good?
Yep.
Which, yeah. So in English, like, we're like most of the country talks English, but when you still get that in English, you walk up to someone and you're like, "You good?" They're like, "Yep, you, yep."
Yep, good.
But if you're talking the full way, you'd walk up to someone and you go, "Do you quit even is Misha Potato Revan Toto Gama to Aaron Law Gama Gaholing?"
Huh.
And basically that translates to God be with you, Stephen. My name is Potato Revan. Hope you're doing well. And are you having a good day? That is how you would do it. And then you'd respond in Irish, that's him. Yes.
Anyway, here we go.
What's
Yeah.
Irish for me? As in for you? No, the word me. As in not for you. Yeah. Well, you could say me. Right. Like if you were saying he saw me, it would be connection me. Grand, I'll use that so. But you could also use awesome. Oh. He trusts me would be Tom when you get awesome. Fine, I'll use that then. Then if you're talking about getting something from someone, you'd use like he got a letter from me would be for say letter okay. But you could equally use dumb. Like give it to me would be toward dumb But then another way would be like it's me would be Misha. Man, how many more me's are there? Like how much longer is this gonna take? I'd say maybe sit down. Oh my god. Get comfortable. We're gonna be here for a while. Hi man, what's the Irish from?
That gave me a headache.
I told you.
Imagine trying to learn the language.
Whoa. Oh my god. Stick to English, thanks.
Yeah, we'll have to keep it simplified. Like, oh.
Yeah, please.
That is the simplified.
Oh, geez.
I don't know, man. Yeah.
I feel like there's a lot going on right there.
I do have some Scottish heritage, but yeah.
Oh, sorry.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah, I'm cool. I like Scots. I like the Scots, man. They're all right.
Scotch and Irish, and he's saying that. I'm like, well, hold on there, buddy.
Yeah, right. Fuck.
Offend you, hold on. Let me go back and offend you even harder.
The same thing can happen in English language as well. I mean, I'm just thinking about. There's that one scene in the movie Stir Crazy with Gregory Hines and Billy Crystal, where they talk about, oh, this shit is shit. He's like, what do you mean the shit? You mean like the shit is good? The shit is. He's like, no, it's bad. It's bad shit. You mean like the shit is bad, right?
Yeah.
That's the same effect, right? That's basically the same thing.
But at least the pronunciation is the same. Thank goodness.
That's a good movie. Yeah.
That's a great movie. It's great cop buddy movie. It is.
It's cool.
And she's cute. The blonde is adorable.
It's been years since I've seen it, but yeah, it came out what 85 or something.
Yeah, it was right around that golden age of like, oh my god, another one, guys! Come on, I'm blushing now. Jeez.
Yeah. I think that was before Lethal Weapon too, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
Wow.
God,
and that was before whatchamacallit, the City Slickers too. It was really when Billy Crystal was breaking out.
Yeah.
Is No, that's Danny Glover. I was thinking that O.J. Simpson was in Lethal Weapon, but he was like in.
No, that was those Naked Gun movies. Yeah.
Yes, that's it.
Yeah.
Right.
I wish they would have made a Naked Gun 44 Magnum. That'd have been awesome.
Oh my god, that would be good.
Do you know why
Leslie Nielsen carrying a giant 44 Magnum gun on his shoulder?
Is Leslie Nielsen still alive?
No,
he passed away.
Yeah.
Aww.
He could have made that.
What a career that man had.
Oh, it's good. Yeah.
That guy
they
worked
did
most of his life.
The reason why he was so pale faced in the Naked Gun movies was because he was a serious actor.
Yeah.
Right.
He was.
Are any of you familiar with Brooklyn Nine-Nine?
Yeah.
Okay, so you know the police captain in that?
It's been a while since I've seen him. I know Andy Samberg in it, and that what's that black dude's name? I'll forget his name. But yeah.
So anyway, so the actor who plays the captain, is in a lot of procedural dramas, right?
Yeah.
But he's not very good at doing comedy. But they said what'd be even funnier is they said you play this role as if it's the most serious program on TV.
Yep.
Yeah.
And which is really funny.
Oh yeah.
Leslie Nielsen made a career out of not laughing.
Oh yeah, exactly. He did. He's so good at it.
That one scene between him and the pilot where they're talking about, so you can't tell me for 2 hours? And he's like, no, it's just that I need to guess. It's like, well, you can't guess in 2 hours? Or, where they're just totally deadpan serious, but it's the silliest dialogue you've ever heard in your life. What's up, Jedi Bill?
Yep.
Jedi Bill.
You know, one of the most impressive things was Arnold Schwarzenegger learned to shoot with his eyes open.
Learn to what?
Good grief.
He learned to he learned
What
to
an
shoot
opener.
he learned to shoot with his eyes open because he said that the making of Terminator is actually quite interesting. They had no permits, so a lot of the nighttime shots was when the road was cleared and they had someone down the road keeping an eye out for the cops.
Right. Yeah, they were filming at like 3-4 o'clock in the morning in L.A.
Right.
It was guerrilla photography for sure.
Mm-hmm. And but Arnold Schwarzenegger taught himself to shoot with his eyes open because he said, "Why would robots blink?"
Shit, that's right. Yeah.
Ever. He was so committed, you know?
He was. Absolutely.
That's what sold it. That's what sold it in all of those films. He's dead serious. I like dead serious. Let me judge whether or not a line is funny. And write it as comedy if you want to, but he should not be laughing on screen.
No. He's a robot.
I mean...
But I mean the action hero in general. Maybe a chuckle or two, maybe a smirk, but not flat out laughing at the camera, you know? It's like, you know what I mean? It's like he should be totally serious about what he's doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Like, there was a guy, they were making one of the Batman movies. I believe it was the Nolan movies, right?
Yeah.
And so Batman comes down, lands on his feet, goes over, grabs the guy. And the guy's, like, got a really ridiculous name. And Christian Bale just starts laughing every time he has to say his name.
Oh, what the fuck?
Yeah, it's like, the name is so stupid.
Anyway, that's Christian Bale.
Yeah.
Christian Bale, what a strange actor he is. I really can't put my finger on what he is.
I do like his. I do like him. He's all right. Like American Psycho is great though.
Yeah, he's a fantastic performer, but he's closer to what's the name of the actor? My Left Shoe or
Daniel
There Will Be Blood.
Daniel Day-Lewis.
Yeah, he's in that vein where it's just like, who is this guy? Like, what is going on up there?
Yeah. I think that would be an ultimate method actor, maybe.
Yeah, he's played so many crazy roles too over the years.
Yeah, definitely he has. Yeah.
I mean, just what is it? The Mechanic?
Yeah. What's that? Ford versus Ferrari. That was a great movie.
Oh, The Machinist. Oh, and there's another one too, which just it's funny. It's interesting. He does it better than Clooney. Clooney is still performing. Christian Bale is acting.
Yes, he is.
I don't know. It's hard to explain.
Yeah.
But There Will Be Blood was insanely awesome. So good.
I haven't seen that one, I don't think.
Have you seen it?
See you guys.
Hey. Night.
Night, Hector.
Night, Hector.
Sleep well.
Sorry about that, guys. My dog had a nightmare.
Oh, shit.
Aww.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. He's a good baby.
Oh, yeah. You sure it wasn't a nightmare?
But it was a nightmare.
Stop dreaming of nuts, doggy. Stop it.
No, it's a Young Frankenstein reference.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
She's like a nightmare.
Steven, speaking about comedy, one of the things that we're going to be in 2024 implementing is I'm going to be going into costume and appearing Doomcock-esque, if you would.
Oh, Lord.
Right?
Really? Oh.
Yeah. But the thing is, it's like we're going to try and make it funny, but also make it look like I'm completely mentally insane.
Right on.
Yeah.
So an easy fit.
Yeah, pretty much.
Love it. I wanted to say it, but I was like, I don't know. Can my cousin disown me? I don't know.
That's why I am allowed to say it, because I don't care.
I can't disown you, Moira. You're part Irish. we insult each other as in I love you.
Aw, her.
That's right.
But,
Punching the arm, love.
Yeah, it's like, oh, you stabbed me. That was a wedding proposal.
Right. His stabbing scene with Joe Pesci, like stabbing the guy inside the trunk, and inside the trunk.
His character was such a fucking psycho. I was kind of glad to see him gone. I just wish he'd done it sooner.
And then you switch to the camera looking inside the trunk to see who he's stabbing, and it's Sally Field saying, "You like me. You really, really like me."
Oh. What a twist.
God damn.
As a hard edit, just rotate the footage of her at the podium. You just rotate that sideways, and she's in the trunk now.
Maya, have you watched Dairy Girls yet?
What?
Yeah.
I haven't seen the new episodes. I did see that. The disgraceful Irish guy. What's his fucking name?
What's the name of the show?
Liam Neeson's in one of the episodes.
Yeah. It's called Dairy Girls. Basically, it's set during the end of the Troubles in Ireland, in Northern Ireland. But there's a really funny scene where one of the girls are just standing around, and her cousin came from England, has never been to Northern Ireland.
Oh,
and
wow.
they're just waiting at the bus stop, and the tank just drives back behind him, and he's like staring right at it as the tank just drove up the road with a platoon of soldiers, and they're just standing there like, "Ah, the bus is gonna be late."
Wow.
Yeah, it's on Netflix. Y'all can see Dairy Girls there.
Yeah. My current season is the last one.
Oh my gosh.
Wow. Oh.
Yeah, season 3 was the last one.
That's probably all for the best before they go destroying it.
No kidding. Buy physical media, everyone. Please do. Yeah.
One of the
does Daredevil, the Netflix series, the original Daredevil Netflix series, does any of that exist on media that I could buy?
I'm not sure.
I have to?
Hold on,
I don't think I ever saw it on the shelf, ever.
I hope it is. I do want to buy it.
But and Stranger Things, they released the first 2 on VHS and then stopped at the 3rd season. I was so pissed about that. I was like, really?
Hey,
DVD?
Hold on. Yo, Steven, I can send it to your DMs, but yeah, it's on Amazon. They've got Daredevil.
Okay.
What, they've got it on disc?
Yes,
Yeah.
Blu-ray.
Okay, so that's new. I didn't realize that.
Also,
but in the beginning and for the longest time, it was unavailable.
Oh,
Walmart has a new contract with Disney, and at the end of the month, they're actually coming out with The Mandalorian Season 1 and Season 2 double pack box set. They're coming out with a load of like stuff that haven't been on DVD. They're coming out with them now.
Before they shove them back in the Disney vault, right?
No, these are like...
So Apex, what I was saying was that the first season of Stranger
Daredevil?
Things
Oh,
was on VHS. They actually released the whole series on VHS.
VHS?
Yeah.
Who the fuck has a VHS machine nowadays?
I do, sir.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my god, that's good. Oh, wow.
Where is it?
Nice. I'm glad.
And they didn't do it for the 2nd season. And I was really, really pissed about that.
VHS. I'm like, what the?
Myra, I think your VHS is underneath your rotary telephone and your Filofax.
Yeah, that's true. The Rolodex machine. Remember the Rolodex?
Yes.
Yes. There you go.
Guys, do you remember when the floppy disk in TV shows and movies could save the world?
The floppy disks?
Yeah.
It looked like a save button.
Oh wow.
Also, the internet could literally destroy the world.
Yeah.
When was the last time you used that one?
A little dusty.
Yep.
I
got one
just
too.
like you.
Yeah.
With my cross-platform PS3 sitting on top, the one that can read PS1 discs.
Wow.
They actually,
supposedly...
now, Stephen, they've actually released a thing called the PlayStation Catalog, where they've got PS1, 2, and 3 games, and PS4 and PS5 games all on it for as little as $13.99 a month. You have access to them all.
Yes, access to them all. Permission from somebody's mom to go into their library. I'm sorry, man. I don't accept it. Let me buy the damn disc. Let me buy the physical copy of it, because
Right.
How many stories have we heard just in the last year where they've gone back and either up-resed it for our benefit, and in the process censored and edited and changed dialogue and musical scores, and it's like, no, come on, man. The library is supposed to be a museum.
It is.
Not a plaything.
Should be respected. You have research and materials. I gotta get going, guys.
Apex, a pleasure, man.
Well, hugs.
Midnight. So I've Apex After Dark at midnight, and I gotta do a little preparation. So yeah, catch me on my channel. I'm having Luke.
Since everybody's in different time zones, how many hours?
Okay.
Go?
I'm on the Central Time, so if you're on the East Coast, it's 1 hour after. It's 12 midnight my time, 1 a.m. on the East Coast. So yeah.
All right, so about 2 hours from now.
Yeah, a couple hours from now.
That way, no matter where they are, 2 hours is still 2 hours from now.
There you go. All right, catch y'all later. Thanks for having me.
See you, Apex. Thank you.
Later. Unless you live in yesterday, then 2 hours from now is 24 hours. 26 hours if you live in yesterday.
Right, you're in Sunday now, aren't you?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
I live in tomorrow.
Because the time is based on the movement of the sun and the spherical body known as the Earth. That is why it is a different time zone.
Indeed.
The way people go on and on and on about those time zone things, it's just like, oh my God, are you really this mentally handicapped? How are you allowed to raise children? I mean, seriously? You're talking about...
The only time I really heard people talking about time zone was when I flew 15 hours and was mainly how to cope with jet lag.
Well, you curl your toes on the carpet, right? That's how you deal with it?
You saw Die Hard too many times is what happened.
I've tried it, actually. It works. It actually does work.
Yeah. Try flying
Probably
50...
totally psychosomatic, but it works.
Try flying 15 hours. That was hell.
Oh yeah, well you try flying 16 hours then.
No, I got stuck in Chicago for a day. That was the hell.
Oh.
I was there for 12 hours, and like the TV in the hotel was just all like, vote for this person, vote for that person, and I'm just like, they also had my suitcase, so I had no change of clothes or deodorant for 3 bloody days.
Oof. Poor baby.
I know. 3 bloody days. Were you on your period?
Oh, wow.
I don't want to talk about work.
No, silly.
Oh, bloody, as in like the UK thing, like where you guys say bloody instead of fuck.
Yes, there you go. Actually, here we say different word that's not YouTube friendly. It starts with C and ends in unt.
I gotcha.
It's a C.
I love it when PJ goes full bore. He just doesn't care anymore. It's like, yep.
Yeah, but I don't want to screw Marsh channel over.
Her.
Interestingly enough, that term used to be related to what level of witch you were in the feminine society of Wicca, and it became a bastardized word during the witch trials. And we claimed it for our own as a disgrace by calling them what they were. Yeah. So that's where that word finds its negative origin. It's another one added to the wick, the kindling pile of things that came out of the witch trials.
It now basically means a woman's happy garden.
Yeah. Well, they're reclaiming it. We saw this coming in the 60s.
We're taking it back.
That's right. Okay. Right. Just like the N-word.
No! Oh, my God.
No good?
So, I just used a letter.
No, but we weren't supposed to even, like...
No, but I mean, but that's what it is. They're reclaiming it as their own, as a badge of honor.
I'm just going to say something. And this is going to sound really stupid. I think fear of certain words and language because it might offend people is really stupid.
Yep. That doesn't stop it from being a thing, though.
No. I mean, one of the things I always say is, what happens when you get offended? Simple. You move the fuck on.
And Moira, I would never dear.
No,
Sweetheart.
no.
Never. I would never. That's as close as I will come to using it out, to using anything like that out proper. I am very, very restricted on how my use of language. I don't just talk out loud without at least a disclaimer or two. So
Right.
feel comforted that I would never, ever, out of respect.
There've been issues like once or twice before where somebody kind of got really out of pocket, and I'm like, oh God. And
Yeah.
so I figured I'd be like, no.
Because it is. It's a dangerous little field we're playing theater on, because, you know, somebody owns the stage, basically.
Yeah. We have to be good little boys and girls, or else they'll take away our ability to stream.
Yeah, good little tubers. I don't know
Yeah.
if we're allowed to even say boys and girls at this point.
I think
you know what I'm
you
saying?
can still say that.
I guess so,
Moira,
because
are
none of
you
us knows
coming-
which ones is which.
Moira, are you coming on Friday?
I think so.
Yeah, we're talking about horror movies.
Probably.
Yay.
You'll have to remind
Are
me.
we?
Yeah. Basically, we've got a load of people just talking about like different movies. Personally, I rip horror movies apart with simply logic. Horror movies are very, very stupid when you think about it.
They are, but they're partially entertaining. They got to be a little bit stupid just to kind of keep you grounded, you know?
Moira, let's set this up. A horror movie. You find a box in your back garden, right?
Okay.
Surrounded by skulls and dead animals.
Fuck that.
Yeah, what do you do with that box?
I have a team of excavators or whatever come out and just drop that in the fucking Marianas Trench. I'm not opening that fucking box.
Yeah,
I think a gallon of gasoline poured on the site and then light it on fire and then call somebody.
You know what? I don't know. I honestly don't know. I don't necessarily believe in curses, so who knows? It might be like important, like museum thing.
Yeah, but I'm also talking about in a horror movie.
Yeah, because that always
well,
works,
they don't
right?
necessarily know
Some
they're
artifact goes to a museum. That never turns out bad.
They never know when they're in a horror movie until stuff's happening. Hey, banging
So-
gears, how you doing, sugar?
You know, Potato, I get what you're saying. I can only look at horror movies analytically because, like, I get what exactly. I'm like, oh my god, it's like I strategically, it's almost impossible for me to enjoy a horror movie movie proper. It's like, really, you're gonna go in there, but seriously, you're gonna go get the keys from the car? Just leave the keys, man. You don't need the keys. You know, it's like run out of town now. You're totally free. There's an open road. Go.
There's this one horror movie, a British one. I forget its name. It was so stupid. I kind of walked in on it. That's why I never learned its name, right? This woman she got kidnapped by a guy. And he put her down into the basement. There was 3 other women, not chained. They were huddled in the corner like, oh no, we're fine. And I'm like, this guy is skinnier than a prepubescent girl. Charge him. And I'm just looking like, why don't? And then she's in the kitchen, she's like, I can't find anything to defend myself, and she was crying, and I'm like, it's a kitchen. There's so many different wonderful implements, pokey sticks, knives, everything.
Well, let me propose, because these things are so easy to rip apart, and I think if there's that much evidence to rip them apart, and yet there is a tremendous, gigantic human audience that enjoys these things as entertainment, we're looking at it entirely in the wrong guise. We're not supposed to be looking at this analytically as scientists. The whole point is that these are openly safe pieces of macabre theater. You're supposed to know with popcorn in your hand that it means you no harm, and yet allow yourself to be comfortable enough to be vulnerable through terror and horror, right? Like, what is the point of these things? It's obvious that it's entertainment, okay? We cannot deny that it is not entertaining. It is entertaining to a large population. There's huge financial backing to make more of it as well, and to celebrate the older stuff. I don't think
Final-
any other franchise on the planet reaches levels of 12 and 13 other than James Bond.
Final Destination.
Well, whatever. The horror genre allows for like 28 friggin' incarnations of the thing with multiple castings choices as well.
Yeah.
So it's a very, very strange thing when it comes to cinema and television. Just American Horror Story is a perfect example. Isn't it pretty much the same cast, but with a totally different premise every season?
Yes.
So it's like, that's insane. Try doing that with any other form of franchise.
I mean, Final Destination, the first two movies had one survivor from the first one. And then every other movie after that was...
That's the one where like a modern battleship goes back in time?
No. This is the one where people see their deaths happening.
Okay,
yeah.
Right. So that's still horror, though.
Yeah, but it's really, really goofy.
Whatever.
Yeah.
The whole thing, horror is fantasy. It is not to be analyzed. It's not supposed to be understood. That's the whole point. And the success of a horror movie is whether or not you can go into it knowing that and still get scared. That's the success of a horror movie. It scared you anyway with your super analytical brain. And if it does that, then it's entertaining to those people because they want to forget the logic of the universe for a few seconds. It's relaxing to some people. I don't get the carnage part. I'd rather see romance and intimacy and success as opposed to continuous failure and bloodshed. But that's the world we live in.
Basically, the way Final Destination kind of set itself up as was nearly a puzzle for the viewers, right? It's like, oh, so you go into a room. Moira, I'm going to use you as an example.
Yeah.
Okay? Moira goes into a room, and it's like, oh, how's Moira going to die? Is it the knives? Is it the vicious dog that's barking? No, a ceiling fan fell on her head.
Right. Interestingly enough, that became successful right around the time that multiple choice adventures went full 3D on game consoles.
Yeah,
it was kind of part of that time period.
Actually, the third one on DVD was actually multiple choice.
Right. It was trying to bridge the gap between a horror video game and cinema at the same time, because they let the camera wander over every single prop that could hurt them, right?
Mm-hmm.
As part of the cinematic aesthetic of the film. Like, oh, the tease in the film is, what's it going to be, kids? Is it going to be the axe? Is it going to be the glass? Could it be the piano?
No, it's the flaming dildo in the corner.
Right. Like just, toying with you. Like your brain is going wild as to what's about to happen and what it's going to look like. Just like they do like the round camera in a video game and introduce you to the set. It's just like, okay, I see where the gas can is. I need to grab that shotgun case, right? It's like...
Yeah, or it's like when you're playing an open world game and you're walking along and you're in a forest or everything like that. And you suddenly come to a clearing. There's no grass and you're like, what's wrong? And I'm there with my friend who's never played this game, Elder Scrolls, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just there and I'm like, what's wrong? This is going to be a boss fight. This area is big enough for a boss fight.
Right. With his minions erupting out of the ground.
Yeah. Hey, Moira, backstage.
Oh, hold on.
What do we got?
Oh, meow meow.
Teach.
Meow 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 meow.
Ooh.
What noise does rabbits make? What noise do you make, Deej, as a rabbit?
Oh my.
Okay.
Rabbits kind of make like a squeaking noise.
Yeah, I can't do the squeaking noise, so I just do the...
Drop a hammer on your nuts.
Ow.
It's almost like a guinea pig, isn't it? It's like... Whoop, whoop,
yeah, they're...
Whoop, whoop, whoop,
Well, wait a minute. I can switch to a guinea pig icon.
Oh, nice. Tommy would love that.
There we go. Tommy's the one that sent me it.
Nice. Who is that? Which one?
That's the pink bunny guinea pig.
I mean, which one of Tommy's
That is a
gang?
guinea pig with a identity crisis.
Nice.
I am part of the guinea pig collective, so
Nice.
I wanted to get
The cats have a truce with the guinea pigs.
I want to get a Halloween costume of a cat for my dog. Just give her the ultimate identity crisis.
That's awesome.
But yes, I purposely came up here because, as Optic Racer points out, the final countdown was with the modern supercarrier that went back in time and could have prevented the attack on Pearl Harbor, but then the time barrier thing showed up again, so they had to go
Right,
through
that's
it.
what I thought he was talking about originally. So at least you recognize it. The title is very similar, right?
Yes.
Yeah. They both got final in them.
Don't mind me, I'm just drunk.
Have any of you ever watched 11/22/63? Or sorry, 66?
Hey?
I'm sorry.
Okay, there's this show. I forget who has the rights. I believe it's Fox. Where so this guy, his friend owns a diner, but his friend, today he's like, hey, yeah, I found out I've got cancer. Shows up the next day and he's dead. But it turns out that in the diner there is a portal to 19. When did Kennedy die?
63.
Yeah.
Then there's a portal to 63. But the caveat is, if you leave the portal, come back to now times, and you enter in, the whole timeline resets.
Oh, it's weird.
Yeah, so it's like no matter what you're doing there, you go and you go back in, it completely reset. It goes back to the exact same moment. So he's in there for a while. He saves Kennedy. He saves this girl. He does everything. And he comes back out and the world's gone. Like, basically, it said that after Kennedy didn't die, he became a warmonger and started World War III.
That's hard to picture, honestly.
Okay, I gotta interrupt again just because Bang of Gears brought up. It's not the Philadelphia experiment. The Philadelphia experiment was just a World War II warship that they attempted to do time travel on, which they thought was going to be a cloaking device, but ended up time travel. So,
Right.
It's wrong show there too, but good chance.
Right. And I was saying that
fun...
Final Destiny. Go ahead, Potato.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, I was saying that it's a similar idea, conceit, at least for the film, that it's, something happening with time travel on a battleship, right? It's basically the same conceit.
One was an aircraft carrier, one was a battleship.
Correct, and one was a weather anomaly, right? They encountered some sort of rift on the ocean.
It was a weather anomaly, and the other was a purpose attempt
Correct.
Trying to do a cloaking device. I'm sorry, Moira. I just, I'm the nerd, so I had to interrupt and do the...
Aren't we all?
No,
doing the thing, man.
It seems like I'm the idiot that always has to try to correct things.
I don't think so. That's always wise. Wisdom is wisdom, man.
And now I can change my icon back from the guinea pig. Well, no, we don't want my face up there. Don't want my face up there.
Well, I came back here. It's quiet. What happened?
There we go. We put the Deej back up.
And we got Too Tall Rob.
Hello, Rob.
I agree, Optic. It was really, really cool to see them going up against the two. Those Japanese guys were certainly startled when they saw those things in the air. They were like, wait a second.
Well, so we've been on for like 2 hours, so I think we're going to wrap it up.
Oh, sure. I just show up, and you're going to wrap it up.
Oh,
Thanks,
we're like that.
No,
Moira hates me.
I
See
do
that?
not.
Moira hates me, and she's just...
The fuck?
And I'm just kidding, Moira. Come on.
Moira don't hate anyone except
Moira, you know
they're
how I
very
feel
cute.
about you, so I just got to give you a little shit.
the French aren't real people anyway. They're just cosplaying.
Oof.
I got to do
Good
some
grief.
exfoliating and moisturizing.
Myra, why do you do that? Why don't you just get a power washer and wash everything off with that?
Because I don't want my skin to come off with it. Not that much.
But that would eliminate.
Moira's gonna end the stream just so I have to start one. What the hell?
Yep. And we're all gonna go over there and bug him.
Nobody's gonna show up at my stream. What the hell? I haven't.
Oh my God! More people
weeks.
show up to your stream than mine.
I haven't streamed in weeks because I've been stuck out in the damn cornfield and bean fields.
My friend, she's working in a corn maze.
Anybody want to drop DJ's channel link so we can go harass him?
Yeah, so I can lose more subscribers.
Yeah, because it's still another 2 hours till Jedi Bill's karaoke.
Yeah, so we better hurry.
And we don't want me singing at Jedi Bill's karaoke because the last time I sang there, I got in trouble because I sang Dead Puppies and I didn't know that his cat died.
Fuck?
Oh my God! You really did that song on air?
Yes, because I did not know. I did not know his cat died, so I was doing like Dr. Demento hits that night, and I did Dead Puppies, and I did not know, and it's like, oh shit! I got in trouble.
Oh my God, that is the harshest. I can't believe that. What a terrible accident.
I know it, and I felt really shitty afterwards, and especially because everybody was like,
man.
dude, his cat just died, and I was like, oh shit.
Oh.
But you were singing about puppies.
I know it, but it still didn't count. It still counted against me.
I'm sorry. That's just, I guess it was just too dark, man. It was just too soon. It was too dark and too soon.
That's fluffed up, man. That's messed up.
I didn't know.
It's still funny.
What you should do is you should go on and start singing Erica, the German love song.
Nobody knows that.
Yeah, the thing is.
Anyway.
Yeah.
I'm going to be on a couple of things over the rest of the week. What is it today? Today is Saturday. Tomorrow I'm doing a Robert Heinlein thing with FFSI. And Monday I'm back with PJ, not PJ maybe, but my usual with Roman of the Empire. I don't even know what we're talking about. And then Tuesday we're doing Iron Skies. We're going to be doing a little discussion on the movie Iron Skies. I don't know if anybody's familiar with that one.
No, it sounds interesting. It makes me does make me kind of want to look that up.
Nazis from the dark side of the moon invade Earth.
Okay.
Sarah Palin is the president of the United States.
Wait a minute. That's a Iron Sky movie.
Yep, Iron Sky.
Yeah.
So we're going to be discussing that on Tuesday, FFSI. What's that, noon Pacific, 8 p.m.s in the UK?
If it rains on Tuesday, which it's supposed to, I will come check that out.
Very cool.
Yeah, just up until the 30th soon, because the clock goes back.
It's still going to be at that hour, regardless of the time shift.
I know that, but I'm just saying if you're like shelling it out and say you're doing something for the UK time after the 30th, just add on another hour until the 4th of November.
Well, indeed. It's just roundabout figures for now. Even if you scheduled it now, it wouldn't show up with the altered timestamp until that timestamp was available. It's weird. I know. It's, we're still working on the whole global clock, which blows my mind all by itself.
If you want a little thing, just look at my Twitter, because I've got like the times right now. For when I push out my stream, literally have the times right now for Ireland, UK, and then going across America. So you can use that.
I have the world clock on my phone set for about 4 different time zones, just so that I could keep track whenever I'm on a different stream. It's kind of crazy. What's that?
Friday, Myra,
Huh?
Go ahead, Potato.
On Friday, Myra and Steven are coming onto my channel, and we're going to be talking about horror movies.
But I was going to say there's only one time zone to remember, and that's the Central Time Zone, because everything revolves around the center. Moira will attest to that because she is on the Central Time Zone as long as I am, and Chris and all that. So,
yep.
Central Time.
Indeed,
Zone.
time is always relative anyway.
Stephen, I have a fun fact for you.
And dead puppies aren't much fun.
No, they aren't.
But Stephen, did you know Ireland has adopted its own time zone now?
What the fuck?
Whatever. Okay, that's you know what. It makes perfect sense to me if you think of it as time. These time zones are a business device. This is how they run ships. This is how shipping gets done. This is how banks open and close. It's because of the time zone and for nothing else. So if you see some bizarrely shaped time zone in the southeast, it's because that country used to go across multiple time zones, and they were just like, you know what? To hell with this. We can't make this work.
Oh yeah, the reason is because we're Irish and we were under Greenwich Mean Time, which is the UK, and we're like, we ain't doing that, puppy. Mm-hmm. So, and now our time zone is IST, Irish Standard Time, and then in the summertime it's Irish summertime, so it's still IST.
Right. Yeah, it's just local nonsense. It's relativity playing out in real time. It's a business thing. It's a personal thing. It's a rebellious thing sometimes even. Like we don't want to be on the same time zone as Hong Kong because then we can get an hour ahead of them by doing this. You know, whatever.
It started out originally with farmers, and then it went to the trains, and now it's arbitrary.
It's all because we're still going on a planetary clock. That's what this is all about, and that's all it ever was. It's just to gain that hour back or adjust it.
Yeah, there should only be one time zone, and you should all live in at the Irish Standard Time. And if it's dark out, just fucking deal with it.
Dun 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 dun.
Steve's like, man, I've got to get to work. It's like, what a lovely morning at 8 a.m, pitch black owls.
It already is that way in a lot of ways anyway, because we know all kinds of people that work insane different hours than normal. I mean, people work going to work at 8 o'clock at night. I know at least 3 YouTubers that's their schedule, and that's why they can go during the day to do live streams and stuff.
When we were flying over to America, the pilot said that we were officially what they called chasing the sunrise, because we were moving, like, and it was we were moving into the sunrise, right? But because the time was getting longer, so we were still in the dark for a long time, because we were chasing the sunrise, because it was getting later and later and later as we were flying along.
So, Deej, what are you doing before we close up the show?
Lately I've been stuck out on the farm every day for long hours, so I've been doing random farm live videos. But I do have a stream set up right now that I'm going to go live since Moira is quitting, and I'm going to go stream for an hour, 2 or 3, because I know I don't have to be at work at least till noon tomorrow.
Nice.
I'll drop the link so everybody can go find the stream.
Plus I'm a little buzzed right now, so because I stopped out for a couple of drinks afterwards.
Sweet.
But yes, I will drop the link into the channel that I'm about ready to start. So there we go. I'm going to pop out of here. Moira, hugs and kisses. Hugs, purrs, and all that.
There we go, boys and girls.
I'm getting out of here. I'm getting out of here, and I'm starting my stream.
Meow, meow.
Have fun.
All right. So,
all right.
Lots of hugs.
Good night, kids. Everybody. Potato. See you later on.
One to everybody.
Boip.